Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Geek First Podcast. This is the 652 episode of said podcast. I am the first Avenger, Trask now. I'm joined by...
I'm the Gamma Boy, Kirkland Patzer.
I'm the Sidewinder, Dylan Muss.
I am Bruce Banner's ex-girlfriend, Taylor Field.
Damn it, you
Ooh.
fucking won. You won so hard. I don't know why. I just could not think of nothing. I started trying to think, and then we started chatting before the show started. So I just couldn't think of anything for said nickname. But kudos to you, because that's 10 out of 10. That's Taylor's best nickname. I'm going to stamp right there in all or almost 10 years. And we're going to get into why very soon. But yeah, we're here to talk about the first edition of the MCU, technically, because of course you have Spider-Man Friendly Neighborhood Man, whatever they call that show. But that is, in a multiverse. We're back in the MCU. Haven't really been back there. I guess Agatha, but on the big screen since Deadpool and Wolverine. That was a big win. Obviously, been a couple shady, rocky days. Mixed Rotten Tomatoes report or score. Some reports out there of a tough shoot. But that doesn't mean we disliked it or liked it. Who knows? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about non-spoilers first. So if you are, because I do know there's quite a few people that are probably waiting till Disney Plus, or maybe they're going to see it on Cheap Tuesday. As always, we will give you a break and say, hey, we're going to go into spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, you can back out. And yeah, if you like what we do, subscribe. We talk a lot of Marvel. We've reviewed every single MCU thing that has happened and every MCU thing that will happen till we die, I imagine, or till the MCU dies itself. It might die before we die. We don't know. What's the trajectory? I don't know. But we're gonna start this off. Which way to go? Because I know a vibe of somebody. I'm gonna
Somebody.
go.
Probably me.
No. Okay, then I actually no. I think I know Dylan's vibe more than your vibe because we didn't talk that much. Me and Taylor saw it. He tracked me down and just forced to sat beside me. So I'm gonna go with Kirkland because he's a wild card. So I don't know how this is
Gamma
gonna
Boy
go.
himself.
Yeah. So yeah, Gamma Boy, did this fill your juices?
I had some juice in my beverage here. It was very watered down. I think going into this movie, I had extremely low expectations. I was hoping for, if anything, to just get something at the end credit or something in the movie to
Always a great
move
sign.
me into the Avengers, mode. Like, hey, getting ready. We're getting closer to those big titles. So that was kind of where my expectations were at. But for the movie itself, it was just extremely low. I had very low hype for this. I don't think this is going to make a lot of money. That was just kind of like my feelings that I've been getting for a while now. I haven't followed any reviews, so I really don't even know. Like you just saying, there's mixed
52. It's 50. So it's down the middle. It's obviously that's Rotten and Rotten Tomatoes, but it's the critics are 50% pretty much split.
Yeah.
So it's the third MCU movie to be Rotten, along with Quantumania and Eternals.
How long till it's certified rotten? Because it's just so you need more reviews, right, to get that, or is it just once it hits a certain threshold,
You do,
then
but
it's
yeah,
certified?
to me, it's a certain threshold of because I think it started at a 53 and it dropped to 42 and then went back up. So but I think once you get
that's
enough
kind of
reviews,
it's probably going to be somewhere there.
But I don't think
That's
it
where it's
can.
fluctuating.
It can maybe sniff 60, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
gonna. So I think it's kind of where it's at.
Okay, well, I mean, judging to that, it's all relative. I'm definitely higher than that. I think if anything, I think this movie, for me, was very average with some special moments in there and some really not special moments. I think there was some moments where I was just really eye rolly. I just couldn't really process what was happening on screen because it was just really goofy. I think there's some really horribly done edits on this movie too. I felt the scene's going on and it just cuts somewhere else, and it felt like I don't know, there's code words going off and I'm a certain character that's just blacking out and thinking they're doing something else. It just seems like we just PowerPoint presentation and they don't have any transitions to their slides. It's just such a sloppy way to progress the story in certain moments. I think it took me out of just the film when those moments would happen, but I still think there's some good juice in here and enough things that would make me want to rewatch it. However, not the rewatch of man, I'm gonna sit down and just completely juice and digest this. I'm gonna clean the house while I put this on in the background.
Where it's
there's
part of the set, right? Where you're I want to watch all the cat movies, and you just watch them in a row.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I went and saw this with a buddy of mine from work, and on the way back, I'm just thinking and comparing to the other origin movies of the Marvel, not counting Iron Man 1 because that's just a glorious film, but Thor 1, even Cap 1, I don't think this is like way worse than those movies by any means. Honestly, maybe we can get into that when we get
Cap
into that.
One.
You know?
I mean, that's a good movie. That's a good movie. Okay.
But it's like it's not my top 10 anywhere near like my MCU ratings. I don't think.
That's
I
also
don't think
tough
there's really.
though, because is this an origin movie? Like we got Sam's origin in Falcon Winter Soldier, right? Like we've known this guy
but, like,
for
who
10
saw
years.
that, right? Like I feel like 60% of my
Okay, so
theater
no,
didn't
no,
know who
sorry.
the fuck Isaiah Bradley was
misspoke.
before this movie.
You're right. I misspoke. We got his origin in Winter Soldier. You know, Army vet, like flight guy, and everything like that. Like we've known who Sam is since 2014.
Yeah, Sam. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I just feel like this is the first origin of like Captain America, like the new era of Captain America,
Fair
I
enough.
guess, going forward. So,
the new world.
in the new world, yeah. So, I'm kind of scattered with my thoughts right now because that's just how I feel. Like I don't know exactly where I line. But yeah, I don't know. It's not completely horrendous. I'm definitely above. It sounds like the median of the Rotten Tomatoes scores. So that's good.
I want to get what because remember that's the score of who just passes or oh god, you're gonna hit me with a fucking trailer for Brave New World right now. Okay, continue. I was gonna try and get what the average score was between audience score 82% though. So people are the people are digging it.
Nice. I think I really liked Anthony Mackie here. Like I think he was like really solid across the board. Like he didn't seem any lower than what did you just see on screen there?
The average score.
You got a Snapchat or something?
Yeah, you seen some Dylan Snapchats over there?
Yeah, Emily sent me something like I'm reviewing right now, baby. I can't come in there. No, so like 52% is like the pass or fail, but when you take an average, like the Metacritic thing, it's a 5.5 out of 10. That's what it is.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, no, I think Anthony Mackie is really solid.
He is solid.
It's pretty surprised by Harrison Ford. Like I think he was better than maybe I would have expected at parts.
Can
at
I
parts
say
he's
something?
better. Yes, you may.
That semi interrupts you, but like as a part of mine, I feel like
You
we
can
do
take it
this-
on too. I feel like I've kind of said my general.
Sure, I'll take it on.
Yeah.
I feel like we do this every time. I think it's just because his persona outside. I feel like we did this with Star Wars. We did this with this. I hear this with Shrinking. I feel like every time we see Harrison Ford, we just assume he's gonna phone it in, and he like never does. Like in our time at Geekverse, I've never sat and been like, oh, he phoned in. Like even in Rise of Skywalker, when he came back for like a 2-minute scene. He was acting. He's crying. It's like I'm gonna just stop assuming just because he's like a little curmudgeon-y in the press that it's
But
just
like
the
that's who
market.
he gets cast to play old curmudgeonly people. So it's like even if it is phoning it in, like it's perfect. Like they did the casting right in
It
that
is,
way.
yeah. But like even in this movie and the stuff in Star Wars, like the emotional stuff to me, that's the hardest stuff to pull off as an actor and feel believable. So that's the stuff where I could see someone go like, I'm just gonna like stick my finger down my throat. Oh, I got tears in my eye. Let's move on. Like this is like I feel it here, right? And yeah, I think he came to play. He was great. It's hard to compare him to like whatever William Hurt, but because we never got this amount of time with William Hurt, maybe in Incredible Hulk, and that comes to part where I think I'm in line with Kirkland, where you said your thoughts are scattered. That's much like this movie. This movie is scattered. I think there's awful parts. I think there's great parts. I think there's good parts. I think there's bad parts. My review of this in a elevator pitch is results may vary. And I don't know Taylor, because I do know Taylor 10 years of being a rival, but I don't know what Taylor thinks, but I'm just assuming for him and I, we really like Incredible Hulk. So all the Incredible Hulk stuff, I really liked here. Is it fucking weird to get it here 12 years later in a Captain America movie? Does it make much sense? Not at all. Not really at all. So it is times where it's just like, even, to Taylor's name in a most non-spoiler way, they do the weird, like I'd have to think about the MCU, but I don't think I've ever seen the MCU, barring a previously on, like, segment, recap a movie that felt like a previously on. There's two newscasters just running you down everything about Sam Wilson, Thaddeus Ross, and Liv Tyler. And it's just like they're going off, oh, Thaddeus Ross, who did this, the Hulk attack, blah, blah, blah. His daughter is Betty Ross, who's the ex-girlfriend of Bruce Banner. And you're just like, wow, they're really laying it on like, we know we're phase 5 and 49 projects. You probably missed some stuff, but even Falcon Winter Soldier, that's fine. For Hulk, it's like, that is a deep pull. And before the Marvels came around, that was your lowest MCU grossing movie of all time. So it is odd, but I enjoy some of that stuff. I enjoyed Harrison Ford. Mackie's always great. I enjoy him. I think it's tough because I think he gets to be a little less fun in this role because he's a very charismatic guy, but it's tough when you're like the lead, right? And you're trying to be Captain America now. But I kind of hope in Avengers they bring that back where he's a bit more comedic, but they're dealing with some, there's a president assassination. So I bet that's why he's not comedic all the time. Lots of supporting cast, not a fan of. I like Danny Ramirez as an actor. I think they didn't give him much to work with as Little Falcon, or aka the new Falcon. I think kudos to him. Some of those line deliveries and trying to make him like the fun comedic character, they gave him some tough stuff. I don't think it was him. I think it's just like, this is not funny. I'm not like endearing this character. And that character's, I rewatched Falcon Winter Soldier. He's like barely in there. You know, like we've not even met him. There's another character which I'll save my spoiler thoughts for, but it's the our new, I'll just say the sidekick to Harrison Ford. Meh. And yeah, the plot's kind of all over the place, weirdly paced. I think there's some fun action moments. I don't think any of the action scenes stand out in the MCU overall, but I think there's moments. I think there's some great stuff that they carried over from Falcon Winter Soldier, because I think Isaiah Bradley is just like no notes, 10 out of 10. Carl Lumbly, just a phenomenal actor. Like, I want him to be in so much more, and I liked all that stuff. I think they hit on some familiar beats that they already covered in Falcon Winter Soldier, so it's like, why didn't you just make that a movie in the long run? So I'm excited to break it down, because there's definitely moments where we're jumping all over. Some things, multiple things don't make sense. Giancarlo just showed up on a lot one day and shot some stuff. Like, you can feel, that is the tough thing, right? Because it's a chicken and egg scenario. We're in a situation where anytime there's a reshoot, a problem with any movie, right? We hear about it. We hear X, Y, and Z. This is happening with the movie. So it's like, we know going in, okay, they've reshot a bunch of this movie and it's going to look a little choppy. But this does feel like one of those times that even if it wasn't reshot, you'd be able to feel like at least something's wrong. You'd go like, okay, the editing's bad or the pacing's bad. That does just feel like something is afoot here, but I still enjoyed my time, and I will definitely rewatch this again because I like the characters. And for me, it is the definition of like an okay time at the movies. Its results may vary. If you like these characters, if you like just a, all right, good, fine, like superhero, if you just like superhero fare, I think this is much better than many things that we've gone the MCU. Secret Invasion, Ant-Man, Eternals. Like, for me, those are ones that never again. But this, yeah, put it on. I have a good time. But the runtime helps and hurts it because it's over quicker. But you also don't get to dive deep. And I think there's some stuff with Sam and some stuff with Ross that I think needed deeper dives. And it was unfortunately lacking there. But overall, I recommend it if you, like I said, like Captain America, like Mackie, you like Marvel stuff, but if you are kind of more tired of comic book movies or you just want to see the great ones, this is definitely not it, and wait till Disney Plus. Mr. Muss.
Yeah, you guys have said a lot of great points that I kind of agree with, so I don't know, taking a slightly different direction. I mean, I think to what you guys both mentioned of, it's hard for us to go into any of these kind of movies just truly unbiased, right? Because we talk, especially the Marvel stuff, because we talk about it so much. We break down these trailers, we do predictions, we talk about all the production issues, we see the reviews. Well, Kirkland didn't, but everyone else sees the reviews like days before. So we come in with like all this baggage. And even I think another thing that was top of mind for me was, Travis, when you mentioned like the runtime was like 2 hours or something going in, which is like, okay, this is like pretty short for a Marvel movie. Mm-hmm. So I'm going in with like all this stuff coming in. And so I think similar to Kirkland, I was expecting to, my expectations were very low, to put it lightly. And then I think, yeah, in the first half an hour or so, I was enjoying it more than I expected. And then as it goes on, it gets so messy and kind of unravels. It's kind of, obviously this movie is, if they gave them 7 more months to work it out, iterate on it, make it better, I'm sure they would have taken that. It feels like, half the video games that come out these days that are like 80% finished, and then they like fix it over the next few months until it's like that final, like actually what the game should have released as. But movies other than like Cats don't get DLC, right? So like this is the movie we're stuck with. And then every once in a while they'll maybe add like a bonus. What was that other movie recently that had
lots
that?
of buttholes in the Cat movie. Did you say Cats?
Cats.
Yeah, there's lots of cat. Remember, they removed all the buttholes off the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about other buttholes earlier, so that threw me off. I didn't know if you were making a call back.
No, I was just talking about cats. I don't know what you're talking
Dead
about.
air after.
I couldn't pick up that bit there.
It's okay.
I got other things on the mind, Travis. You know this.
Yes.
But this movie, I think the weirdest thing for me is just the pacing of it. This movie just feels like only in Act 2. I feel like there wasn't really an Act 1 or 3. In this, the ending is like really underwhelming. Nothing really unpredictable happens. If you've seen the trailers, I think like almost exactly. There's a couple characters that are hidden, I guess, but like otherwise you kind of know the broad strokes, or at least once you're like 20-30 minutes in, like how this movie is going to end. And then I feel like the kickoff, the inciting event, that classic Act 1 stuff, it just felt like a filler episode from like a TV show. Somebody's like, oh yeah, we got to get these canister. It's like, Okay, I guess that's what we're doing to kick off this big, grand Captain America Avengers adventure. Like, it just felt really strange in that way. So by the time it ended, I was just kind of underwhelmed. But I think to speak on the good things, it's hard to say without too many spoilers, but there are just certain dynamics that I really enjoyed. I did like Little Falcon, surprisingly. I just thought from the trailers, like, who is this guy? Why should I care about him? I forgot he's in Falcon Winter Soldier, even though I'm sure we talked about it 3 weeks ago, but I already forgot about that. But I liked him. I thought his dynamic with Cap was really great, and then another guy that's kind of like a little trio with them, and I really liked all their dynamics, and I kind of maybe wanted a little bit more of that. And then I think, yeah, just the Ross stuff, I do think Harrison Ford did a good job because even if he is phoning it in, he's just such a good actor that even like a phoned in performance is still pretty good. And obviously, as I mentioned, like he's kind of perfectly typecast for this kind of role here. But then the stuff at the end, it's like you can just like see the green screen. It's like they really churned that one out in the last like couple weeks in terms of finishing that dialogue and putting it on screen. So it really just did not stick the landing at all. I guess I'll put it that way. So yeah, I can't recommend going out to this one. I think as far as like Marvel movies, fun popcorn flick kind of thing, similar to Travis, I'd wait for Disney Plus on this. I don't think you need to race out to the theater on this.
Mr. Fields, you get to close off the non-spoilers here.
Close off non-spoilers. So this movie to me felt like I was watching a superhero-ized version of Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And I really like that show.
Why did you make
Cool.
that comparison? Just a show, or because there's a certain line? I'm gonna see if you can get it. Certain actor involved in that franchise.
Well, I know the actor you're referring to.
Who's that?
I don't remember his name, but I know he's in Thunderbolts and he's in
You don't remember
Superman.
Harrison Ford's name?
Oh, Harrison Ford. I wasn't talking about that Jack Ryan. I was
I
talking
was
about
just trying to see if you knew he played Jack Ryan once. Continue. Go back to your review. It's fine.
Travis
the
is
other
throwing
actor-
us some hardballs here in our overall thoughts.
you know the other actor.
I thought
who's
these are
in-
easy. I thought these are just home runs, but no.
The other actor who was in Thunderbolts and is also in Superman that you pointed out. He's also in Jack Ryan.
Is he in this
Jack Ryan.
movie?
No, he's in
I'm
Thunderbolts.
confused.
Why are you
now,
bringing him up?
officially.
Why are you bringing him up?
Because you were bringing up like, oh, what's the connection with this and Jack Ryan?
Continue.
Anyways, I had a lot of fun with this movie. It was definitely messy, but I think my biasness purely comes from the fact that I really like the Incredible Hulk film, and this truly does feel like it is that sequel. Again, you guys already highlighted it's very weird that we're getting this sequel focused in a Captain America 4 film. I, at the end of the day, think that 17 years later is
Dalton points
very
out, which is that makes me
peculiar.
feel fucking old as ass. Just tell me, Incredible Hulk was
Old as ass.
17 years ago. Old as bottles.
pretty old. I don't know if like Anthony Mackie, like I really like his Captain America. I think he actually did a really good job. You guys highlight some very good points too, especially you, Travis, where it's like how he's leading the charge. He's the main character, so he does kind of act certain things that we like, certain parts of his personality that we've liked in the past because he is that main character and he's carrying a lot more on his shoulders. But I think that we didn't necessarily need a Captain America movie for him. I think he could have just popped up in another.
He's supposed to lead the Avengers and not get his own movie?
But again, that's just another. That's a very minor kind of like thing at this point. Like I feel like if he's gonna lead the Avengers, like okay, just reintroduce him and give him make him pop up like Ant-Man or Spider-Man in Captain America: Civil War. And then it's like, oh, this is cool. Like, let's see more to these characters. What's going on?
But they
here?
still
I
got their
guess-
move. But that
Was
you already
Ant-Man?
did
Did
that.
he get a
You did
movie
that-
before or after?
Yeah, before what?
Before Civil War. I can't remember if Ant-Man has a movie before or after.
It was before Civil War. Yeah.
Okay, then let's say the Spider-Man route. Spider-Man gets his movie after Civil War.
I guess,
think
but isn't
that's
the
how they
last
should
like
have
10
introduced
years them sprinkling Sam in, like Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame? Like they've sprinkled them a lot.
Ant-Man.
Like how much more could they sprinkle? Like you're gonna have a lot of too much cheese on the plate. Then he's ready to be the main course, the pasta.
Well, but it doesn't necessarily feel like this was the right way to do that with the main course. I mean, they served the green eggs and the ham, right? And it was more like red eggs.
You think this is green eggs and ham?
This is red
With all the
eggs and
Hulk
ham.
stuff? With all the Hulk stuff? Is that what makes
Yeah,
it green?
yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
A little bit of gamma. Gamma green eggs. But I think
Gamma
that
eggs.
it was not the right place to introduce him and give him his full feature with this Hulk story, because he's just everything going on with Ross and whatnot. Like, I don't feel like Mackey's Captain America, he was never really a component of that dynamic.
He's just with Ross because they have feuded in the other movies, right? Like Ross.
I don't remember any of, like, I remember him being caught in between a rock and a hard place because of Steve Rogers, and Mackie was just like, I'm here because Steve's my friend, and Ross
He
just
is, but
pinned him
like,
to the wall.
because in Civil War, you know, they pick the wrong side, and then in Infinity War, they do interact a little more because Ross makes Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, and Natasha wanted people, so they do have some scenes together and history. They literally talk in Civil War, him and Ross, so they do have a contentious past relationship. It's scenes, it's not much, but there are moments of it. But yeah, not to even him saying Betty sounded kind of weird to me. It's like, you don't know Betty, you know. But that's okay.
I would have
You're not her
taken
father.
I would have taken, like, I don't know, just switch out that character and just give us something like back to basics, something very simple with Mackey's Captain America. Because with this, it was. I'm trying not to get into spoilers, so I'll just end my thoughts here, and then we can just get into it.
Okay, we'll get into it. So we're gonna take our first ad break. If you've not seen the movie, go away, come back when you have, or if you don't care, we're gonna get into spoilers. So we'll be right back.
Don't forget you, buddy.
And not tonight.
I didn't click
Early
anything.
enough.
I didn't click
Yesterday.
anything. I didn't click anything.
I'll come back again, but not right now. But yes, thank you everyone to listening. If you're new to the podcast, go down below for everything you need to know. We usually have about 3 to 4 episodes a week, whether it's our video game show side quest, a newscast, some review. Like we got Daredevil coming up. We're gonna have Andor coming up. I keep forgetting there's an Alien show coming up this summer. I can't wait. There's a lot of good stuff. So
Damn.
and we cover all the big events. Yeah, we got lots of big stuff happening. So yeah, subscribe. And if you really like what we do, want to support us, head over to Patreon, because not only does that support us and you create more episodes, more time for us to record podcasts, you get now it's I want to say hundreds, but I feel like soon I gotta do a count. I feel like there's soon to be at least thousands of hours, maybe a clean 1,000, but the amount of content we put up there exclusively because we started doing that thing for 8 years, there's at least hundreds of hours of just stuff that people have never heard unless they've joined Patreon. And that's what you can do right now. We reviewed every single Fantastic Four movie and every single Superman movie leading up to them, and you can get those. You can do our call-in show, and other thing, just jump into our Discord. We have lots of fun there. We got a great community. We welcome everybody. As long as you're a nice person, you like geek stuff, come aboard. There's channels for everything. There'll be a channel for this. So yeah, that's what you can do. Find us here at Geekverse. We appreciate it. Taylor, I'm going to go back to you because you said there were some things you couldn't really maybe. Oh yes, and a shout out to our Patreon producers: Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Grant, Muds, Sam, Superman Mike, God Me 69, Jeremy Renner. Didn't see him tonight, and Charlie Randell. Yes, Taylor, you can continue talking because you thought your points may be too spoilery. So I want to hear the juice that was trying to flow from your mouth.
Juice. Getting into this whole worldwide conflict was just it was crazy, and that's where it started to feel Jack Ryan. It was crazy. That's where it felt very Jack Ryan to me. And I don't get me wrong, I liked it. I like seeing Japan's Navy and America's Navy and just big fucking celestial.
Can you not say Japanese anymore?
Japan's Navy.
You see the Japan. Oh, you see Japan. Like,
You almost did a slur there.
there's Japanese people. They speak Japanese. Taylor's so worried he's gonna get cancer or something like that.
You never know. But just these two nations, and you see this big celestial made of adamantium in the background, and it's like, holy shit, this is crazy. Fighter jets are whizzing by. It's like, this is just like, I was eating all that up, and it didn't even feel necessarily like Marvel to me, because I don't think we've seen
Really?
Jack Ryan. Full Jack
Well,
Ryan.
Sam-
Sam,
Jack
when he's in the
Ryan.
air throwing a shield at missiles, happens in Jack Ryan.
Well, we got
More
that.
Jack Ryan
Well,
trash.
we got
In
Man,
season 3, man, it gets wild.
What is John Krasinski doing in that show? My God.
when we got those scenes, it definitely felt like Marvel. But just to see like like mankind's like navy and military. Like we haven't seen something like that since like the first Iron Man. I want to say we had like the tanks and stuff. Like you don't ever see human.
First Avenger a little bit too. It's not current day, but First Avenger. There's soldiers, right, and everything.
Yeah, like you don't see like mankind necessarily like what they're standing up like, and even then, it's if you do, it's more flamboyant and it's shield like the helicarriers, right, and in Winter Soldier. So it's very
armored
different
up and everything.
Yeah, so that was just it's a very different perspective. But again, at its core, I think when you have the leader, when you have Red Hulk, and you have all this stuff, it feels very out of place where you're introducing this story to, hey, here is our new Captain America, Anthony Mackie. He's being asked by Ross to create an Avengers team, and that just gets squashed. But all of a sudden at the end, he's like, no, I'm going to be putting together a team. And I just feel like we could have had a movie focused more on him becoming more Captain America and doing that. Instead, you get brief moments of him backtracking. Now, I understand not everyone has seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so they give you a brief moment with Bucky and him where Anthony Mackie's like, oh, I can't mount to what Steve did. He chose the wrong person, yada, 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 which we got all that in the show. But again, I know not everyone's seen the show, but for us, that was very out of place. But spread that out a little bit more and not just so back to ground zero, and then make it more about him trying to rebuild the Avengers, but you got all the Hulk stuff that's kind of trampling it.
I wanted to point out that because I want to do this cast when Secret Wars is all done and just kind of look at this multiverse saga and what we would have changed and whatnot. And for me, that's one where I retroactively think Falcon Winter Soldier just should have been a movie now, like going back to it. I just feel like they should have shored some things, done that, especially because like John Walker, he's going to be in Thunderbolts. That would have helped it out too. I think there's certain projects obviously you cut, make movies, make shows, etc. Right? But that's where I was fine with the conversation at first when he's like, oh, I got my ass kicked and my friends hurt. I was fine with that when he's just questioning that he's Captain America. But then when he started going on about Steve gave it to the wrong guy, I'm like, oh, we've been here before. And I don't want this to be like Dylan and I reviewed Punisher Netflix when like he'd become Punisher. Okay, and then he was done being Punisher. And then he's back to being Punisher. It's just like, just be the Punisher. Stop like dropping the mantle all the time. And that, I do not want that. Like if we get to Avengers and it's like they see Doom and he like messes him up. And he's like, oh, Steve gave the shield to the wrong person. Or I wonder, man, if Hydra Cap's going to say that to him when he sees him in Secret Wars. Like, oh, he gave... I bet you he is. I 100% guarantee you Hydra Cap's going to be like, he gave it to the wrong person, and then he'll kick him down or something like that. So...
Sorry, who had Bucky in the draft again? Because that's going to be some juicy
you
points.
Did, and I was pissed.
Did I?
I thought I did.
Whew.
Yeah.
Hell
so
yeah.
I will give us a tally
Unannounced
at the end
appearance,
here.
starring. Hopefully he doesn't die in Thunderbolts, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I got some tally at the end there, but...
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Taylor, and I was having that same realization when watching the movie. I'm like, yeah, we're going in circles here, like Frodo. But then I think you made a good point that like, oh yeah, a lot of people will not have watched this show, or they just, it's a show, it's long, maybe they forgot about some of these elements of it. And that is just a point of this movie in general, where it is a very short movie. Which I think I'm okay with that in theory, but when you spend a lot of it like doing scenes like that, we've kind of seen this before. The stuff you were saying of like rerunning the Hulk stuff to catch people up, which honestly I did appreciate because I'm not a big Incredible Hulk fan, and I need the refresher of all these connections a little bit.
Did you
but
know
there's
Bruce Banner's ex-girlfriend though? Did you forget that fact?
See, I did not, but I also
reminded us,
couldn't tell you anything about her as a character.
That's fair.
Not that there was much in here other than just like meaningless familiar connection between her and her dad, right? But yeah, it's weird when a movie's so short and then we're also spending a lot of time just kind of recapping things. It feels like, similar to a TV show where you'd have that 3-4 minute recap at the start of it to catch you up on the things you missed, but that's just sprinkled throughout this, and it's one of the shorter MCU movies, so not a great combo.
And it's funny, like another thing, we're not going to get into this now, but I'm going to dovetail it for the future. I feel like when we started talking about like Disney Plus and those shows, and we talked about like a big thing we want those shows to matter for the movies, and now almost in retrospect, I wonder if that was maybe a mistake. It is better just to do your Moon Knights, or your like, you could watch it without having to know, like, because people complain about the Multiverse Madness, right? Like, if you didn't watch that one as kids, like, what? Like, that's, and now it's, before I thought that was a great thing, but now it's like, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't,
But like that's also the early stages of us getting those MCU shows, right? Like I feel like they were trying that. Like, let's see if this works. So if we can have a big movie, transition with a show, and then lead into the next project.
And
And
it blows
everyone's
up
gonna
on
have Disney
Disney
Plus,
Plus,
right? So everyone's gonna be watching these projects, and then
WandaVision
maybe it
blew
didn't go
up.
the way that
That
they
was
planned.
huge,
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I think this, like the fact that we're getting a lot of recap in a project like this, makes them feel that they are forced to do that, and also
Yes.
maybe rethink that, okay, maybe we shouldn't be doing like shows for this aspect. Like you can still do shows, but just don't have it as a main chain, especially connecting something like Cap. Like that's such a big important thing
Yes.
of getting Sam being the one that gets the shield and go through the whole progression that he went through in Falcon Winter Soldier. Like that is a very important story that I do recommend people watching, you know, if they're interested in this character. It's just a shame that not everyone did do that, so then they feel forced to do it on here, especially for the people that have seen it, like us. It's just kind of a waste of time, right? 'Cause
Yes.
I mean-
we're going in circles.
Outside of just the TV show side of it, I mean, it's just kind of the MCU like collapsing under its own weight at this point to some extent. Where the Hulk stuff is like this too, where it's like 17 years ago is when we're calling back to for some of this stuff. Over 50 projects ago, like that is for any casual viewer or someone who's even watched these movies a lot back in the day. That's a lot to remember and store in your brain. So like they do need these things to some extent infused in here, but I don't know. It'd be hard to like. It sounds like a difficult challenge to write. How do we make it new, but also remind you kind of what these bonds, like what Bucky means to Sam? Do like a little mini version of it. We kind of want something new, but at the same time, how do you get around that? It does seem like a really difficult problem.
And it's
They're just gonna
double
start doing
catch-up.
crawls at the start of a movie, like Star
Maybe.
Wars.
God,
Just fucking
you
recap
know?
everyone. Yeah.
Hey, it's like-
Da-da-da.
and it's like double catch up because it's like you got to catch up on Sam stuff and then the Hulk stuff, which is like again, it's great for the story, but like, are we seeing Ross ever again? Like, I don't think so. Like, I think this is done. Like, and that's why I was very happy to. I know I'm all over the place. Like, I was very happy to see Liv Tyler, but like, I hope she got paid well because like if you would have shown me like the script, right? The phone call is different. Hey, we're gonna give you 10 G's just to record this phone call. Okay, sure. But to come on set and just like, hey, Dad, oh, I got time to talk. Like, I wanted more. I want to see a bit of their conversation, but just to cut away, it's just like, well, that's like, there goes my return of Betty Ross. Like maybe they're gonna do something with Hulk and we can get there, but it's just that's what's so tough with all these projects. That why, like I said, I want to do a bigger conversation about all this stuff because it's so fascinating. Because I was talking about this with a listener, Dookie. We were talking about Sam and like just some of the issues with the projects of like when Chris Evans appeared as Captain America. From that to Civil War was 5 years. He appeared in 6 movies. It's been 4 years. Sam's only appeared in one other thing other than the show. Like it was Falcon Winter Soldier and this. So it's just like Chris Evans had more than one a year for his run as Cap, and this is his second project time out. And even the first thing, he was still Falcon. So it's just like interesting and to the point of just little stuff of like in the phase that we have right now, like phase 4 and phase 5, we have 12 new characters, and all the Infinity War, like to lead a project, it was 10. It's just like when you really compare these numbers and everything, it's fascinating. I think that's the problem with this again too. It's just like maybe it's a little too late as well. Like you give him the shield, and now that was 6 years ago, right? Because 2019, 6 years ago, and it's just like,
Crazy.
do people feel like I watched Falcon Winter Soldier? Oh, I don't care as much anymore. It's just, it's tough.
So I'm not sure if this is accurate, but they seem pretty accurate in their statement. But Mackie is making $10 million for his role here in Captain America: Brave New World.
Where you get what's the source of this, please? I need to hear what this is from.
It's called Fandom Wire.
No,
Sounds
don't trust
reliable.
Phantom Wire. No.
No, they say Liv Tyler made $3 million for her role.
If she made $3 million, then that's great for her. Because
Goddamn.
I would say
Insane.
if you say you're gonna pay me $3 million to come on set and deliver 4 lines,
Hey, Dad.
absolutely. Yeah,
Where's my
yeah.
check?
But
Where's
there's
my
no
check?
way she got $3 million. As much as I love Liv Tyler, but
They
no.
say Harrison Ford got
Darwin.
$15 million.
I could believe that, but I don't think those are true numbers. I don't think so. So
Crazy. I guess some of the Betty stuff too. I mean, that's like it just doesn't work for me. I mean, I'm notoriously not a fan of the Incredible Hulk movie, so it's revisiting very often. Oh, did I cut out there for a second?
you did, then you came back like the Flash. Your speech was
Yeah, you
really
caught up.
fast,
You
but-
caught
That's
up.
how-
Yeah, you caught up. We
That's how
know
it
we know
goes.
where you are now. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not super familiar with this stuff, but it really just had like no impact in this movie, and it's obviously the screen time is very limited. You get one physical scene and one quick phone call, and then just allusions to it. But to me, it was just like, okay, when we got the phone call, and we was talking about it. Like, obviously, she's gonna be the one to like calm him down in the final battle. But like, even that is a little. That is the case, but it's not even like with her, so you don't get this big emotional scene. You get like a half emotional scene because it's kind of just Sam alluding to her, and that's
I
the
thought
thing
she
that
was
calms him
coming.
down.
I thought it was gonna happen.
I wondered, is Bucky coming? Is she? Who's? No one. It was just Sam on his own. Good
You know
for
what
him. I guess.
scared me in that final fight though, when like we'll talk about fully, but at one point they both get knocked out, right? And Sam gets up, and then Red Hulk gets up. When he's like, "Oh, like I got this. Like, let me try." He stands up, and in the background, the sun was going down. I was so fucking worried he was gonna do a sun's getting real low. Like I thought they were gonna make a joke in the moment because the sun is right beside him, but they didn't. And I will say that for this, like I think a lot of the humor in this movie did not hit, but I actually appreciated. Did not feel like a joke a mile a minute. There's stuff of like when Thaddeus Ross turns in Red Hulk and the report they come in red now. It's like I didn't need that. This is a huge moment. This should be like we've talked about. The president has turned into a Hulk and he is literally destroying the White House. Kudos to them to like destroying 3 American like landmarks. I thought that was really cool. But that like kind of killed it for me. Like they come in red now. It's like. Oh, but I think the rest of the movie actually like held back a lot of the humor. So I appreciate that because some movies are abundance and it's just like it's killing the moments. But that still happened in this movie. So.
When that sunset was happening and they were actually walking towards each other, I was getting PTSD because that Red Hulk's gonna kick him like Hulk did to Tim Roth and the Incredible Hulk. Just
Sam's dying then.
Sam just flops against the tree like Abomination did.
Oh God.
God
yeah.
damn.
Jesus.
That'd have been
Yeah.
sad. Yeah, for me with the Betty stuff, I mean, I love Liv Tyler. You know, Arwen. Shouts out to Arwen. Always great to see her on screen. I'm more like Dylan here, though. Like, I feel like the dynamic between specifically Harrison Ford and her, it just seems so. And I haven't seen Incredible Hulk in a very long time, so maybe the detachment of those two characters is like it should hit me really hard. I think that Harrison did such a great job at portraying that pain and like just basically regret that character would be feeling for just like, you know, basically losing like the one thing that he didn't always know was the most important thing in his life. But like now that he's getting older, he's the fucking president of the United States. Now he's starting to have these thoughts of turning a new leaf. I think that he just sold me on that. So like I did get semi-emotionally invested in it. But like honestly, I didn't even need her in this movie. I like it seemed... Because to your point, Travis, like I wanted more of a dialogue scene between the two of them, and he's just like, "Hey, Dad, figured we'd catch up," and then we just like roll credits essentially after that. I'm like, really? Like we did all of that? Like, just say that like he regrets losing her, and then she fucking died in a car accident or something. That's the big shtick about it. Like, are we ever gonna see her again? Is she gonna be interacting with our Bruce Banner
I
again?
hope.
No, definitely
Well,
not. There's no chance.
No, I won't say no chance because if we do,
Pizza bet you right now. I'm on a roll with my pizza bets.
So what is the
last year.
pizza? I want to be specific. What is the pizza bet?
What do you want to do? Do you
Liv
wanna do
Tyler
that?
never comes back. I think that's what it
This
is. right?
specific Liv Tyler interacts with Bruce Banner.
I would take that bet because I do think
Yeah?
if World War Hulk happens, she'll be back for that. Because I think Ross would be
Specifically
in
Liv
that.
Tyler.
Yeah, because I feel
With
like that's something.
Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah, I feel like that's something they should tie together.
And
they should
Harrison
do.
Ford.
No, I'm not doing the trifecta.
And
take it.
Joaquin
I would take
Torres.
the bet.
take
Sure,
the
you're on,
pizza bet.
you feel good about your pizza bet, Kirkland?
Absolutely, I do. Do you not feel confident with me here, Taylor? You think Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo is gonna be interacting with Betty Grant or whatever the fuck?
Betty
her last
Ross. Not, who
Betty
the fuck is
Grant.
I'm
Betty
thinking
Grant?
Dr.
This
Grant
World
now.
War Hulk
I got
thing-
Jurassic
that
World.
pizza bet.
If the World War Hulk thing does happen, I could see it. But that movie has been talked about for a decade at this point.
The reason I'm just going off this is it's the same way as like in Endgame, Natalie Portman was back for a scene. She came back for one day to lay on a bed, and then they're like, she's in Love and Thunder. She's a co-lead. So it feels like very similar as far as like
okay.
Liv Tyler's in one scene, and boom, we're doing World War Hulk. Now at the same time though, this is why like, have you accepted the pizza bet yet? Did you accept that?
I thought I was waiting for you to accept it.
You're talking him out of it.
Yeah,
I
I don't.
offered it.
You know what? Let's wait till next newscast because the problem is if this movie fucking
to do
eats-
research.
No,
That's the
if this
thing.
movie
it's
eats
money's
it,
gonna debate what
Yeah.
happens here.
they're gonna be
Money.
like,
Like she's the make or break.
no, I think they're gonna look at it and be like, we marketed this movie on Sam and Red Hulk, and if people don't come up for Red Hulk, people don't care about Hulks, and I may think people don't care about Hulks. 'cause-
Mm,
You think
Okay, I
that's
see.
the way they look at it though? Because like,
Yeah.
I see it. It's like Captain America and all this Hulk stuff. So if this movie bombs, you're saying they're just gonna pin it on. Oh, it's all the Hulk stuff. Let's.
They're going to
scrap the
blame it
Hulk
on
stuff, scrap
Sidewinder, I think.
No, I think
it. Yeah.
Wait,
No more
wait for-
Giancarlo.
We'll circle
No
back.
more
We'll circle
Giancarlo.
back. Yeah. Well, we'll circle back. But no, I think it's both, Taylor. I think that Mackie will just be in team ups now, and then I think Hulk stuff will be kind of dormant for a bit because I just don't like what do you like. People I think are over Professor Hulk. All joking aside, the Scar reveal was awful. People are very mixed on She-Hulk. I love that show, but I talked to so many people that like, yeah, I hated She-Hulk. You know, that aren't like like the misogynists, like just assholes, right? And then with Red Hulk, I feel like it's gonna be. I think Ford is a positive, but I don't think Marvel will be like, well, people really loved Harrison Ford in this, so let's make World War Hulk. Like, I think the Hulk stock is dropping, and I think with Mackie, it's tough because if we do a reboot on Secret Wars, I easily think you see a new Steve Rogers, and it's just a new blonde white guy named Travis Snell. No, I guess I'm Canadian, so I can't.
John
go for
Walker
it, but
comes
yeah.
back, takes
Yeah,
the mantle again.
Yeah, we're giving it back. But no, that's why I'll wait for some box office to see. But what I wanted to
Okay.
say on Ross and Betty is so I liked what they were going for. I really liked the idea of both characters are dealing with how do you both characters meaning Sam and Ross, where they have past things, very different past things, right? But they're trying to go, how do you evolve and become something different, something greater? And we'll talk probably more about Steve later. Steve, fuck, big slit there. Sam later. But with Ross, I guess my issue is, okay, I can buy he was a bad guy, made a lot of mistakes for his country, but still he wants to do good on them, right? To me, it felt very much like Wanda Multiverse of Madness, where I get what they're going for, but I think the writing's all over the place. The first meeting he has with Sam, I want you to bring back to the Avengers. My God, we finally hear the A word in the fucking MCU. Crazy. Hey, they're talking about Avengers, and we still didn't get anything. We'll come back to that later. But like, okay, we want to put together the Avengers. Great. So, and then Sam goes, what if we disagree? And he's like, we'll figure it out. But he makes this whole pitch about how he's changed and wants to do things different, and he says to work together. The first issue Sam and him have, you're out. You're not Steve Rogers. He's motherfucker. Like, he's completely
He was
close.
trying to be attempted
It doesn't matter though. Like
assassination,
the
so-
point of this character is he's supposed to be trying to change, right? And for our first instant, I'd be fine later on, but the first time there's conflict between him and Sam, you're out. Like, I don't want, you're not a part of this. You're not with our crew. I can't trust you. You're gone. And then later on, the same thing where he's walking with the Japanese, is he
Prime
a
Minister.
president? Prime Minister.
Prime
Thank you. So he's walking him, right? And they're having this conversation, and he reveals, hey, we got intel that America was a part of stealing the adamantium. And it's this great scene where Ford, to me, plays really well being embarrassed. He showed up, right? But then we get to the war room, and he's just like, yeah, fuck it. I'm a war general. It's just like, to me, you do that scene first, and then you have Japan reveal, it was your fuck up. Then he goes, man, I got hot. I shouldn't have done that. They were right. But he has all the evidence that, oh, we screwed up. I should fix this. Nah, fuck it. Let's just start bombing them. Let's steal the adamantium. Let's get our SEAL Team 6. Like, so they would keep doing this thing where I want to change, but he was not. He was doing just the same old stuff. And that's why I could not buy Sam being like, he's trying to be a better man. When he's talking to leaders, like, no, he's not. Like, he's like completely just like jumps to like 100 instantly. So I appreciate what they're going for. I think the writing was just not there to cover it all the way with Ross. And I think because they had Ford, he did a good job of getting like raising up the very shoddy material. So.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was gonna go the route that he is being manipulated in some way. Like even Sam says that. Like, are you
Yes.
are you feeling like yourself lately? And I'm like, oh, this is gonna be why he's so erratic and
Yes.
literally just flopping all over the place. But no, he's actually just not changed his ways. He's just same old Thunderbolt. So I was disappointed by that, but it's also on par with some of the other messy things that were happening.
Yeah.
And it's again like just some of the cuts. It just seemed like what you laid out with him having the talk in the Oval, not the Oval. Yeah, I guess it was the Oval Office, wherever the hell they had the
I
meeting
think it
in the
was.
White House.
Yeah, when they
And-
had the big party and everything.
Yeah, and like we're gonna do this different, and then like you said, like screen time probably like fucking 11 minutes later or something. It felt like
Not
it
even.
felt so fast of like
Yeah.
you're out, you're done, and it actually. I just couldn't believe what was happening. I'm like, this is crazy. Like he's actually just banishing him from being Captain America here, like this early on. Yeah, that was hard for me to swallow that pill. But yeah, I was pretty disappointed that it was just some inconsistencies with the writing, and it would have been better if he was just being controlled, and then that's what sets
Yes.
him off to be Red Hulk. Because, like, is he just never gonna go Red Hulk again? Like he just became Red Hulk because of the
I
pills
don't
that he was taking.
understand the rules because then he stopped taking the pills. But I thought he needed the pills to survive.
Yeah, so he's dead now. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he
don't
just
know what happened.
dies
Yeah.
mid conversation with Betty.
Just
And,
hard to explode.
You think that's what they're going to get to, where he is being controlled. And I thought when Sam was in the on the ship with him in
Yeah.
that private office, I thought he was going to play like that Mr. Blue song, and and trigger him. or
Red Hulk
something
on the
like-
ship and kills
Yeah.
all these innocent
But
people.
all
Sam's
we
like, I
get
played
is-
that one wrong.
This is where the writing is a little bit messy because Sam, it turns out he's just holding like his schematics. It's like, how does Samuel Stearns have your health stuff? And he's like, oh, we probably hacked it or something like that. It's like, that is such a bullshit answer.
He's like, you signed off on it, sir.
If he could mind
Yeah.
control, he
You
probably could
visited
hack
him
it
many
can't he?
times.
Yeah, and that was the other thing too in that mid conversation where they're talking about Bradley, right? And he's like, "Hey, like I know this guy wouldn't do this. He's a hero. Like something's controlling him." He's like, "No, he's going to prison." It's like we live in a world.
Definitely.
We live. We'll get to him, but like in Congress, we got a guy who killed JFK and he's about to be elected. Why? Because he was mind controlled for decades, and the fact that Ross won't even listen to the idea that something's controlling to him. That's so out of, like, that's the problem where we are in the MCU. It has been 17, 18 years of aliens exist, mind control exists. So you can't have Ross, who has been part of the Avengers, like working with them, be like, it's not mind control. Can't be. It's like, what? Like the guy who's running for senator apparently killed Robert F. Kennedy in this timeline. He killed the Starks against his will. And we're not going to say Bradley had nothing to, like, what? Like, it's just
In a world where the whole plot is revolving around like this giant being that came out of the center of the ocean. Yeah, that stuff, it's always, it's especially weird given that he's someone who's been so close to these people over the years and seen what mind control can do. But I think it's where this movie's plot in general, I feel like there wasn't a whole lot of like consequences to things and things just kind of randomly happen. I think that's just generally we have to be so careful with like mind control in movies, and in this where he's mind controlling just like tons of people, but it's like it feels like he has unlimited power, but then like why wouldn't he just like mind control Cap or something? Or why wouldn't he mind control him as Red Hulk? Or why did he even turn him into Red Hulk? Why didn't he just mind control him,
want to
like
ruin
make
his
him
legacy.
well,
ruin his legacy,
but why wouldn't it be easier to just mind control him and have him at like that press conference, like take out a gun and shoot someone in the audience or something? Like it feels like there's a million more convenient ways that you could just do that.
But I
Even
think
then,
Hulk
why
is
did
like the
he-
bane of his existence, right? So to turn him into a Hulk is like, just,
And that's fine, but like, here's my question: why did Samuel Stearns lock himself up?
I have no fucking idea. I was hoping you guys could answer that
He
for me. I had
plays the-
no
'cause
idea what was going on
which
at the
it's
end.
terrible when we talk about editing scenes. They have this shot where it's so anticlimactic. What happens with the leader? Sam's just sitting on a bench somewhere. Leader just shows up like just a random guy. He starts talking to him. Okay, they have this shot of the leader. Everything's CGI behind him. His like body's half CGI. It's like, okay, clearly this is all reshot stuff. But he's talking everything. He gets arrested. The second he gets arrested, of course, reporters are like, he's admitted that you were tampering with him,
Oh my
Ross. You're doing all
gosh.
this,
They had, like,
yeah.
articles written,
Yes,
like-
right. But let's say it's been a couple hours, maybe, right? I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe some happened. Even though Stearns literally says like in minutes, everyone's gonna see the monster Rosses. Who knows how
Yeah.
long it takes to fly over? But either way, that's fine. Let's give them a pass. The speech that he plays is the speech that he recorded, right? Of Ross admitting he did all this bad stuff. He could just play that. Stern could be sitting at McDonald's, hit play, hack it, and that's it. He did not need to lock himself up because it's Ross literally on the thing saying
could be fake though. I mean, right? Like if you got
Couldn't it still be
Celestials in
fake
the
if he's
ocean,
arrested, though, then?
Could be AI. Who knows?
okay,
right?
but if he's
Like,
arrested, couldn't Ross
if he's
still say
arrested,
that?
I think it generates more momentum behind it.
I don't know. I just didn't buy why Stern just like willingly after a decade of planning this revenge, like gave himself up before his plan was enacted. I guess he did become the Hulk, which again, I don't understand the rules because he stopped himself from becoming the Hulk on that sub, but then here he couldn't do it. Again,
Well,
I
it
do
was
think
the scenario, right? Because the situation defused on the sub. She's like, "Oh, the Captain America saved the day. Planes are full back." Like
he didn't know that
Japanese
though.
folks are
He didn't know
leaving.
that. She just came in and he was like getting sex talked in the ear by the leader, and
Yeah, but
he's like,
she told him though immediately, like, "Hey, the planes, Captain America saved the day," and he said like, "Okay, good," and then he was able to phase out the leader, which
he was
should have
doing
pulled his
phone sex.
headphones.
You're getting mad. You're so rageful. Oh, you got that fire in
should've
your
pulled
I love how
belly.
that lady like comes in the hall. It's like, sir, they're standing down. He's like already massive. Like he's looking like fucking Charlton Heston or something. Like he's not quite Hulk size, but he's getting pretty big. He's like squeezing the pipes, red eyes, and she's just like not really reacting. Like, sir, it's okay now. You know.
Is Red Hulk's skin just normally really hot? Like,
Yes, fire is one of his,
I was
like,
wondering.
abilities.
I was wondering why his clothes are like burning off of him. I was like, what
Yes.
the?
Yes, fire is one of the
Cardiovascular
abilities.
disease, Taylor. You know, when
And
your
what-
heart starts.
It's
What
an
I was
epidemic in this country.
what I was going to circle back to for the mind controls, I didn't mind when they found all the files on people and he could control them. Because, like, okay, I like that. He has to get some vitals, some stuff where it's like, if he just sees, if I have all Taylor's health information, I can control him. But if I bump into Dylan, I can't control him because I don't have everything, right? But then, like, that guy who was like a random side character for a bit that Sam met in the first mission, and he had some random biology with him, right? He the bearded guy that he gives him a
Oh,
heart
like the
attack.
Marine.
Yeah.
So
So
it's like
that
accepting calls when they're in the middle of a training
Yes.
mission. That was kind of crazy.
So
Anyways.
did he just he just gave him a heart attack randomly, right? Like I
Yeah.
don't think he had any credentials on him. anything. Yeah.
dial.
So to Dylan's point, I was like, why didn't he do that to Sam? I would understand if it's revealed that he needed Sam to do something, right? But before he pimps off in the middle, he's like, well, and hopefully you die so you'll stop being an inconvenience to my plans, whatever he says, right? So like clearly he has no use for Sam. Why not just heart attack him right there?
Well, because he's saying if he goes sees the Red Hulk, he's gonna die, right? Like he's all about probabilities, so he probably has high
early in the
probability.
movie, when he wants him out, like why even keep? Because he says he's getting in his way. He doesn't like that he's going against
Or like in the lab,
probabilities.
you're saying, like you
Yes.
could have just killed them with the fucking heart
both
attack
of them.
dial. Yeah,
Little
you're
Falcon
right.
cap done, and your plan's back on.
You're not
What?
wrong. Yeah.
Why? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I
Be a boring
found like
story.
the pacing of Leader in general was it's like, okay, he can mind control and he can hear everyone, so it's like, okay, I guess like no matter what, he can just be anywhere and do anything. But like
fast travel as well, right?
Yeah,
You
when he
can
left
fast
the
travel.
base, went to some random suburb, killed someone just to watch the TV, I guess, which was like, okay.
No,
and
he was
then
an admiral, so I think he had like
got his
comms
number.
to the
Okay, sure.
president.
That's
and
why.
stuff.
Yeah.
there you go. And then as Kirkman said, he just fast travels to like that base, and of course he gets there like within 3 seconds of him about to call Cap, and but it makes sense technically because he can hear what everyone is saying at every second ever. So, I guess he's got the biggest brain. He can do it.
And then
It's
again,
just not very engaging for a movie watcher. It's like
he just
okay.
shows up in the middle of a yard and gets arrested. And that's why, for me, this definitely has shades of how Black Widow felt like a lesser Winter Soldier. This feels like a lesser Civil War, where they're trying to, I think, do the Zemo thing, where it's like, oh, Zemo, doesn't die, he kind of gives himself up, right? And they arrest him, and it's this big deal. But like here, it's just so anticlimactic. Like these guards just come and throw Leader to the ground, and they arrest him, and he's in the raft, which bugs the fuck out of me every time we go to the raft. There's not a single soul in there. Baron Zemo's in there. At one point, Abomination was in there. Even in the end credits, which we'll talk about later, Ross is in there. He's nowhere to be found while Captain America's talking. Like, it bugs me so much. Of like, you can pay Liv Ty to come on set. You can't pay Daniel Brew, who was in Falcon Winter Soldier. That would have been a cool tie, right? If he walks by and sees Zemo and there's like even a mini face off. But no, the raft is.
That's how you
empty.
get a budget out of control there, Travis. You got to be careful with that.
I can't. Well, it sounds like they're already doing that. So what's going on here? Like, I don't know. Or just throw in some random CGI. Like, let's be like, hey, what Marvel character are we not going to use? Oh, we're not going to use like the Beast Herder. Okay, throw the Beast Herder back in the background. That's cool. Like something like that, right? Like throw just some villains in there to show like, oh, this is like even in what was it? Endgame, 5 years. I'm sure they caught some fucking weirdos in 5 years in between movies, right? Like there's no one in the raft. Just a small thing that bugs me every time the raft is a ghost town, except for whatever main character our hero has to talk to, Let's take an ad break, and we'll be right back. And we're back. Do we have anything more on the Leader? Because we should maybe cut that off. I liked his look enough. I think Tim Blake Nelson's voice was really good. I liked the way he spoke. So it sucks that I liked the presentation, but not the quality of what we got.
His voice quality, it felt like it was like 110% better than like everyone else. I don't know what it was. It just sounded so crisp compared to
The
everyone
best
else.
boy that was hooked up to him was
Yeah.
locked and loaded that
Oh
day.
yeah, 100%. It was like $1,000 more expensive boom
They had a
mic
mic
that
in
that
his
guy
throat.
had. Yeah, it just every time he spoke, I swear I could like hear it inside my head. Like it wasn't
They
coming
might have
from
done
the
that on purpose with
speakers.
the sound mixing, though, right? Because he is supposed to be in your head. So that might have
True.
been a
No,
choice,
and
right?
it was effective. Like I'm like, holy crap, the leader's speaking to me right now. So I agree. I think I kept getting this character confused with the Green Lantern guy, the guy with the big head.
Oh yeah.
So that's literally who I was picturing coming into this movie, and then I forgot that
Skarsgård
was
guy.
from.
What the fuck is his name? I'll get it.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Sounds
his
like a
name.
MODOK
Hector
type.
Hammond.
Hector Hammond, yeah. Like
yeah.
I literally thought that
Oh.
that's who this character was. So I'm like, oh, this is a different actor, and then I'm like, oh, that's fucking
the lady
DC.
in the street.
I'm like, oh, that's a DC movie, right? Okay. So I really didn't remember who this guy was. He's from The Incredible Hulk. I haven't seen that movie in so long.
Yes,
He's
he's a
Mr.
good.
Blue.
He's like he's just like not a good guy, but he's another character trying to help the Hulk out, and then bad situations happen that create him to
Okay.
be the leader. Which it's
Yeah.
fun that he's Mr. Blue because that's his code name in the movie, and then they chose Mr. Blue's song. So I like that as a
Oh, okay.
callback. That's a very fun because
Yeah, that's
the whole
nice.
movie Bruce Banner's talking to just like a blogger, and it's Mr. Blue, and he's trying he's another
Right,
scientist.
actually,
Yes, and he's
okay.
trying Bruce has sent him his blood DNA. Like, can you help me? He's like, no, I need you to be here. So I like there's a
Yeah.
fun little call. Like I said, the people who wrote
cool.
this, they're fans of Incredible Hulk for sure, or at least they gave it a watch again. So
They waited. You know, they did their waiting. 17 years of it in Azkaban
they did the Blade
to make
Runner.
this
They're like,
movie.
oh, worked out for
They've
Blade
been sitting in
Runner.
the
Yeah.
raft waiting for someone to show up.
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say it's brutal when you find out that Ross and Co are just like putting more gamma into his brain just to fuck him up.
Yeah,
even
that was
more.
That's what I was gonna say. Is like I was actually like really impressed by his like explanation for his motivation. I'm like, this is actually justified. Like this is actually a decent villain origin story as opposed to just like he stole my design and like you know like just such a
Like
classic
Sidewinder,
one.
who only cares about I'm just here for the money. Yeah.
Fucking hold on, sign one.
Yes.
Hold on.
Very,
Leader.
very true.
Let's
So
kill
yes,
off Leader.
I was pretty impressed. I think with just majority of the stuff with the leader. I think just certain. I just wanted more. I think because I was interested and I liked the look. He was creepy. I like his like glowy gamma eyes and yeah. I don't know. It just maybe because we had too many pieces to the like on the chessboard. Like we couldn't really focus just with that character. Like they tried to make the villain. Not just that, like maybe we just didn't have Sidewinder in this whole film, but
Again, they're trying to do
Sidewinder
the
kind of
BMO
fits
thing.
like the Claw role as well, right? Like it's a very similar type of villain.
Yeah.
Like
Still
foreigner type.
Any more thoughts on the leader?
No, I'm good.
I guess we should talk about it now, just because like I'm not gonna do a cutout for this end credit. The end credit is Mackie, which is so weird, right? He goes to see Ross, broken arm and everything, cool. I guess he came back to the raft just to check on the leader, which is just like, why wouldn't you just put an arm thing on him? Like, if it makes more sense to check on Ross and then go check on leader at the same time, like, why did he come back for him? They had the most generic, like, I would be willing to put this in the bottom 5 for MCU end credit scenes
agree.
because it's so lazy and it's so just like, right, we're doing Doom in the middle of this. Our plan was Kang. What do we do? Just have the leader say that other worlds are coming. Great. How does he know? Well, it's
Yeah, well, I was
probability.
because he says specifically the others. Is that like a reference to a specific thing
I
in
think
Marvel?
it's
I didn't
just.
think so.
I don't think so. If it is, it's some minor rap group in the Marvel universe or
Ambiguous,
something. But yeah,
ambiguous to
so-
go wherever they want with it.
Sticky fingers.
And that's all it is, and that's why I said to Taylor, yeah, Sticky Fingers is coming. I said this to Taylor, where this again made me so mad, where this to me feels like a perfect setup for Avengers 5, which is them versus the Masters of Evil. You could have Leader, Zemo's in the raft, like you have other characters you could pull, obviously Thunderbolts happening, but just like, to me, that's the set where it's like, oh, same thing. If we don't get a Hulk movie, we're never seeing the Leader again. But to me, the Leader would be a perfect, hey, we're going to get 6 bad guys who are like B tier, but all together make an A tier team, right? And they're going to fight Mackie and his new Avengers. But no, it's just for him to be like, yeah, there's other worlds coming. And that's for the people to go, oh, I guess other worlds are coming, right? Like, I just, like, it's at least with Thanos, it's like you see a guy in space, he turns around like, who is this ambiguous figure, right? I would have still not been a fan, but if it's like, okay, we're gonna just fucking show him Downey. Downey's been here, but okay, that's juicy. It's like you're showing Downey as Doom, and he's coming, right? But it's just the leader, just like, and technically, I think he's still just making a guess. I don't think he knows this. It's just a probability that there's other worlds. So this is to me a bottom 5 MCU scene of just don't show anything or just show something for Thunderbolts. We did this in the past where like the Ant-Man end credit was a scene for Civil War. Just promote your next movie. You know,
Yeah.
it might be lame, but it's just like this is just so like yeah. Just like I don't know. It's just they won't even say Doom because you know why? They can't even like. I have another point. Like I'll say it right here. I say this as Taylor. You know, because we said this in the predictions. We thought, okay, Avengers has to happen, right? He's gonna talk with Fury. He's gonna talk with some other Avengers. They even set this up in this movie where Falcon the whole time is talking about how he's a fan of Ant-Man, right? What a perfect way to go see Paul Rudd. Like, hey, we're putting the team back together. We want you to be that right there. You've made that bond of Falcon's a fan of Ant-Man. Let's go there, friendly, right? They won't do that. You know why? Because they don't even fucking know who's on the Avengers. Because they have no idea about any of this. They've not planned this out. So that's why I'm like, why couldn't they just have any Avenger? Because they don't even know. I bet they don't even know if Paul Rudd's going to be an Avenger. They don't even know if Bucky's going to be an Avenger. And that's what's so disappointing. Of like, you could have Nick Fury. You could have Robert Downey show up in the Incredible Hulk end credit scene because you know Hulk's going to be there. But here it's just like, it's so just ambiguous, like, oh, we're doing something, but it means nothing. And it's so frustrating when it's the same, like, not the exact same, but like it's Feige and company, right? And I just feel like I'm starting to, it just reminds me a lot of 2015 to 2017 DCEU, which is not good because then I feel like we're going to start seeing like, does Feige need to go? And if it keeps going like this, like that's a bad thing to say, but it's like, this, it just feels like it's
New World
blind leading
Order.
the blind.
New World Order.
Yeah, it's just,
MCU.
I don't know, frustrating end credit scene to me. Very frustrating.
It felt like a scene I had already seen before, honestly.
Yes.
Like I
Scenes of
not
scenes.
just in the MCU, but like it just, I guess Batman was pretty similar, like going to see the Riddler, you know, like just going crazy in the cell. I don't know. It just seemed like we've been there before, and I didn't stay in
BVS,
the theater.
remember?
Thankfully,
They-
you guys told me, so I just watched it in my
Yeah.
car after.
Remember they talking about Batman? Remember in BVS at the end he goes sees Luther and Luther talks about how they're coming and they're coming for the boxes and stuff.
Yes,
It's the
100%. It's like the
exact
exact
same-
same
yeah.
dialogue. Yeah, you're 100%
And
right. And it's like the
great
most
place to-
generic
Yes.
thing to cover. Like they are coming. Like
And
a threat is coming. Okay.
Great place for us to be going into Doomsday and Secret Wars where we're comparing the BVS, you know, jail scene. Like that's where I'm like, fuck, man. Like I just feel like we're so fucked for to tell the listeners. I rewatched Infinity War and Endgame, and to me, I completely think we're fucked for Secret Wars and Doomsday. Like seeing the qualities, I'm like, we're gonna get
Yeah.
nowhere close to this. And seeing this movie, even though I'm not gonna fail this movie, there's aspects where I go, oh, we're so fucked. Like, and this end credit was like, oh, we're fucked. Like, this is like, they don't know what, we're just throwing shit at the wall. So,
Can I take us somewhere more fun and positive?
Taylor, you have anything to say on the end credit?
It would have been nice to get something a little bit more certain and not so ambiguous.
Okay. Take us, Dylan.
Well said, David.
Yeah.
Isaiah Bradley and Joaquin Torres and Cap, when they're just hanging out, I love those scenes.
Yeah,
I think they
it's
were all
good
really
stuff.
fun. I think the dynamic is really great there. Isaiah Bradley, anyone know the actor's name off the top of their head?
Carl Lumbly. It's
Carl Lumbly.
Lumbly. I always screw it up because it's a weird thing, but yeah. Carl's
He was the star of the show for me. I thought he was fantastic in this. I kind of, somewhat remember with a foggy memory, like his role in Falcon Winter Soldier. It's just been a while. I haven't rewatched that or anything. But I thought he was so great in this. I thought he brought the emotion when he needed to. He brought that like Harrison Ford curmudgeonly guy energy when he needed to. But like when he gets this suit and they're in the limo and they're going to the place, it's not on top tier like MCU slice of life stuff. But when we think about like the Avengers 2 like party scene or just like small little scenes where characters are just hanging out having a good time, kind of the filler scenes, so to speak. I just had so much fun with that stuff here. Even the training gym, I think, Travis, you like I agree with you on the humor. Like most of the jokes in this movie are like solid 5 out of 10, maybe a 6 out of 10. It's like, yeah, sure, maybe a slight chuckle, but probably not. And I think some of the like old man like phone stuff was like, yeah, I'm not loving this necessarily. But otherwise, I really enjoyed those scenes. And then afterwards, you even get a little more emotion after Sam and Isaiah Bradley go back to his like office there and talk a little bit more. But yeah, I really enjoyed that stuff in the movie. I think that was probably the highlight for me. It was kind of the trio there, and even Joaquin, like he is supposed to be the goofy sidekick guy, always quipping and stuff, but I still think he brought some heart. I think the chemistry was good between them. So yeah, that's the stuff that I think I'm going to remember about this movie, weirdly enough. I'm not going to remember the Hulk stuff. I'm not going to remember the leader and whatnot. I'm probably just remember like that little trio. And it really makes me curious how Little Falcon is going to be used going forward, because obviously if we're set up here with like what we have and we're continuing on this trajectory, it seems like he would be promoted. Maybe he's too much of a novice to be on the actual Avengers.
There's no
that was kind of a
fucking way.
debate. But it's
Yeah.
like story wise, it would make sense if we like are going in that direction. I think he's he's not really skilled enough yet. I mean, he barely made it out of that one fight alive. But I don't know. In terms of like their dynamic together, I want to see them more together. But it is hard to envision like where exactly that would happen.
Yeah, I like Sam's speech of like, you got to earn it, which was very funny. He's like, oh, all this pressure, and he's like, you don't screw up under pressure. Sam's like, yeah, no, I don't. And then he talks about why he doesn't, but like he never. I thought he was gonna be like, oh, he's gonna talk about the times he failed. No, Sam Wilson does not fail, I guess. But yeah, that's the thing that I like the speech, but that's where I was like in the back of my mind, he was like, oh yeah, you just gotta build up and earn it. And he's like, yeah, I want that pressure on my shoulders. I'm like, we're not going to get the same way we got to see that build from Sam to become Cap. We're not going to get that here. And that's where it's like, it like almost rings hollow. And I'd be fine with it, but like, there's no chance this guy's fighting.
It's almost
Downey.
like when Spidey's like, I just need a suit. He's like, if you're nothing without the suit, you don't, whatever that quote is from
Yeah.
Iron Man. It's like, he
You're
just wants the
nothing
Wakanda like upgrade armor and he thinks that everything will be okay if he gets it.
100%, yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to see more. And yeah, to me, Carl Lumbly is a fucking lock next year for Golden Geeks, Marvel Golden Geeks, for supporting actor, whatever. He was
okay.
he was great in Falcon Winter Soldier. He's great here. The only thing I would have wanted more, not from him, just the writing. I would have loved a scene specifically with him and Harrison Ford, because I thought that would have been cool.
Oh,
and he even
okay.
refers
Yeah.
to saying like he has history with Ross, so it'd be another great person to show like, hey, I know we have history, war times, but like I want to change this, and this.
Feels like a
If you
scene that would get cut. Like if you needed to, if you had issues with this
And
movie,
that's-
which we know it did, like maybe
Yeah, but
it did
that's-
happen, or maybe they couldn't figure out how to write it in a way that made sense.
That's what's sad, because that's the whole thing right there. Is like, hey, I hate what happened to you. You know, when you were Captain America, they pretty much just like threw him in jail. But I want to make sure that, and especially because like he brings up like, oh, you are Captain America to that president, right? And I would love to scene of Harrison Ford be like, what happened to you, I'm not going to let happen to him. Like, even though again later on we talked about the issues with some of his turn, but I just wanted, because Ford and Carl were so good, I would love to see them in a scene together doing like just great old man, like grumpy to George Charlie. You can make some shots at each other for past war. So I wish that happened, but
Yeah.
it didn't. Yeah.
My last point on this happens a lot in, once again, going back to the mind control thing, is like when you have a character who like spends the whole movie mind controlled, and it's like, yeah, okay, well, like we're not really getting to see like that actual character. So I like that he got mind controlled, but it was for like literally 30 seconds, and then we got to see like the aftermath, the before math, but we mostly got to spend the time with him as an actual character, and then just like the tiny little bit of mind controlness. So we don't have to, it's not like Bucky who just spends like a ton of these movies sometimes mind controlled. We don't really get to see the character. He's more just kind of that antagonist factor, but I think I got the balance there right with that character. That was kind of like everyone, they get mind control for like a scene.
Yeah.
And either they would kill themselves like that one security guard, or they're just like back to normal seemingly.
Not those fucking F-18 pilots though. I swear they're like still mind controlled. That was a
Yeah,
long time.
locked
They're
and
like
loaded.
they're doing barrel rolls. They're swooping. Yeah, they're doing strafe runs. Like
That
it's a
song is just on
long,
repeat.
extended- in the cab of the fighter plane there.
I'm blue. Which was so funny when Sam's like, he flies up to the Japanese fighters, right? And he's like pull back, like stop fighting, and you just see the American pilots coming at them shooting missiles. It's like, what is the Japanese pilot supposed to do? Like, he's like,
Yeah.
stop it, like stop the fighting, and it's like, no, they gotta fight back. Like, it was such a just like a funny lame moment to me of
Especially
like,
if you're like focusing on
engage.
like this enemy fighter trying to kill you, and then you just have this fucking flying man that's like somehow speaking Japanese to you like through your headphones right now. Like it was a weird sequence there. But getting back to Mr. Isaiah Bradley, I think he was stellar. I think his story was so just impactful, like hearing that from Falcon Winter Soldier. Like I had no idea who that character was before then, and then after hearing that, I'm like, holy fuck! Like this is such a crazy history of just the super soldiers, and I thought it was just such a phenomenal like way to tell that story through Falcon Winter, especially just like being like the first like Captain America that was hidden from the government because he was black and all these other reasons, and then here you have Sam Wilson be like the new black Captain America, and then they just like bonded throughout that show. So I was like really happy to have him in here. I like that they're actually like really close. Like it seems like he's just always checking in with him, and like that is the original Captain America. He doesn't have Steve Rogers, so it's kind of like his resource to like help, I don't know, just training, what like all these factors, all these things that he probably would have done with Steve, like he has Isaiah for that. So I think it's just such a nice special bond, and it doesn't feel out of the realm of possibility for him to like take Isaiah to the White House, because it's not like he's just pulling him out of hiding and like putting him in a potential threat area. It's like, this is what he deserves. Like, this is like, he's been in, or I can't remember, I think it was like 20 or 30 years he was in jail, and here he is in like the White House. Like, it's just such an important like full circle moment for that character. And then obviously like 10 minutes later, it's like completely like just worst case scenario where he is the one with the gun. I can't even remember. Was it his gun, or he just got it from someone? Like
He got it from a guard. He
Okay, yeah. It was a fast sequence. But I did love that sweet, like that. I think that moment for me was like, oh, okay, I'm like itching in my seat. Like I'm like, okay, I'm engaged now. Like this is totally different than what I was maybe expecting. Just because it had been pretty safe before that. Like just the three amigos, like, you know, playing capture the flag, not capture the flag, flag football essentially. You know, in the training gym, he's got his flags that he's pulling off of him, and it was just like, I don't know, lighthearted up until that point. But then it's like, holy shit, Isaiah Bradley's now like enemy numero uno, and just the sequence when he's just like basically almost in tears, like I can't go back, like I was in jail for all that time, like he's just getting taken back into that hellhole that he was in. Not like he's going into solitary, like all of these extreme things. I think it was very effective in what they were doing with that character here. And I was definitely bummed that he didn't get any sequences with Mr. Thunderbolt Ross here. And it also, like, for me, I just felt like it was a big point of emphasis in this movie that, like, okay, Ross made mistakes and he's trying to be better now. He completely, like, for his own gain, like, fucked over Samwise. What's his name?
Stearns,
Stern.
yeah.
Not Samwise Stern. Samuel Stern.
Stern.
Yeah, like basically just kept him like it's just like the most extreme, basically type of torture where he's just like fucking him up permanently for life for just to stay. Like that's like crimes against humanity. Like that is a serious offense, and it's just kind of like glossed over. Like it's not really that important of like a consequence for. I guess he's in the raft at the end of the day, but it's mostly for me because he tore up the whole fucking White House, the like all these like important landmarks. Like that's probably more so why he's there versus fucking over Samwise Stern. He's here, but anyways, so he did that to him. But then he also did something very similar to Isaiah here, where he knew that Isaiah wasn't guilty, and he just fucking kept him there. And it's like I thought he's supposed to be better here. And I know we kind of already talked about that earlier, but it's just like doubling down on that, where it just seemed like two instances of something very similar. And then at the end, when he's in the raft, he's like, oh, did Isaiah get out? Okay, that's good. Yeah, no, I'm happy. But it's like, you don't fucking care. Like, you're only thinking about that right now because you're in the raft and all you have is time to think about these things. So I spewed a lot there, you know, a lot of janky thoughts, but Isaiah Bradley was phenomenal. I'm definitely backing you in Gold Geeks next year.
Isaiah was also in a jail where the other people were getting murdered that were a part of this, and it's like, you got to get him out now. Like he could be killed at any point. This is the time. And you said something a while back that I want to touch on. I really love the scene that he's telling Sam to leave him alone and leave the situation alone for the benefit of, like, he doesn't want Black Captain America being pulled into this. Like, it's so sad that he knows Sam can maybe help him, but he's like, I don't want you to get hurt in this, when really, like, Bradley's the one getting just screwed over in this entire situation. But how selfless it is like, just let me rot in here and just try and go out there and be Cap, you know. And it's just it's a great moment, and I'm very happy. I was very worried that character was going to get killed off again. I don't know when we would see him. I have some hope that we will get a Cap 5 or even a TV show or something. I don't know. I would just, again, I like these characters a lot in here, so I was at least happy he didn't die, so we could maybe see him again down the line. Or hell, even like give us like Old Man Steve and Isaiah Bradley. Like, I want to see that happen. You know, like, Isaiah is just a great character to have, and that to me will be a shame if this movie doesn't do well, because I think a lot of these characters we won't see ever again, if not for a scene when they're like reacting to like Downey coming from the skies and they're
portal scene, yeah.
Yeah, like Ned, or no, like my comparison, like Ned and Infinity War. He's on the bus and then you don't see him again, right? It's just like that, where you'll be like, he'll be having lunch with Isaiah, and then he'll see Downey, like, I gotta go to work. He's like, yeah, you do, and then he goes, you know. So
with how much I love Isaiah, like, I do want to see him again, but like, that guy deserves his Thanos looking out in the sunset. Like, just fucking let him rest. I don't want him to be brought back into another threat where he's getting brainwashed.
Well,
or
I guess
something.
the only hope is we have is because they set him up, but he wasn't in this movie. They said they cut him. I don't think they filmed scenes. They just cut him from the script. But remember, his nephew becomes the Patriot. So my hope is that kid is in Champions, and that's where we get Bradley. I would love it if Bradley is like one of the mentees towards all the young Avengers.
Yeah, a little
Hell
trainer.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Give us
Kicking punching bags at these kids and just knocking them out.
Yeah.
Looking like an
Beating-
Elden Ring boss, just
Yeah.
swinging the
Beating
fucking
the
heavy
shit
dagger
as-
I
around.
loved it. Did look like a Warhammer, didn't it? It was
beating the
insane.
shit out of Scar in front of everybody. You know, is this your king? Just nutshot.
Kills Scar to yes.
Lesson number 1.
Yeah. And Bruce isn't even sad about it. He's like, oh yeah. He was a shit kid anyways. R.I.P. Scar. Tay, anything on Bradley or want to move on?
I'm just happy that he got a little bit more screen time here after seeing him in Falcon Winter Soldier. Yeah, he just got done so dirty, and the fact that they were looking at evidence that he was, of course, you highlighted the fact that he was being mind controlled and brainwashed, and then his Ross's head of security, a former widow Red Room trainee, is even saying like, oh yeah, he's innocent, developments, yada yada, but Ross is like, no, just keep him in there. He just had it out for Bradley, which is just terrible until the very end. Doesn't seem like Bradley had any help from Ross to get out of
And
solitary
again,
prison.
maybe given that scene where Ross is trying to give an olive branch, and maybe Bradley just like motherfuckers him and like maybe embarrasses him in front of some people, right? So it might give Ross some motivation and be like, oh, I can see like he knows he's in the wrong, but Ross is a little pissed off at him still or something. But no, there's nothing there.
Plays a conversation over the speakers.
Yeah.
Ross's interviews or
Yeah.
meetings.
Ruth, you brought up Ruth.
Ruth.
Sorry. This character, because I want to make a point, because whatever. This character reminded me where, again, to Falcon Winter Soldier, they took Sharon Carter, where flaky character in all the Infinity War, right? But they go and make her the power broker. In retrospect, why do that? Just have her, this character here, and have another tie to the old Captain America movies. It's like, we're never seeing Ruth ever again. I thought the actress was fine here. They didn't get much work with, but I also didn't like, even with some performances, you go, oh, I want to see more. I don't care if I ever see this character again. But that's where it's like, this would have been a perfect Sharon Carter role of, oh, she's the assistant to Ross now. We have some history there. You don't got to do this backstory. We've already seen her in the MCU kicking ass and doing those flip-a-doos and everything like that. So I just thought the whole time I was watching this, like, they wasted this whole thing. Like, Sharon Carter's a villain now. She's the power broker, which, again, are we ever seeing that? Is that ever going to tie into something? No, they'll, like, kill her off in a episode of Falcon 2, but like that's where it's just like I was like, I wish that was that, because then you could have taken all that backstory that even she had and you could just be like, oh, we know Sharon Carter, okay, go, like, you know, the dynamics, go, not, oh, she was a Black Widow, now she's against Sam, and like she can be against Sam because you can say, hey, Ross got me my job back, because like I just watched Falcon Winter Soldier. She also, when she was on the run, when she got back from being blipped or something like that, like the government like brand her as a criminal and stripped her of everything, right? Easy to do. It's just, yeah, Ross gave me all this back and now I'm here. Yeah, I didn't care for the Ruth character. Just thought it was another unneeded character. So
She felt weirdly like a plot device character that could have fairly easily been written out of the movie altogether. Like, I feel like any other character, any purpose that she had, like there was another character that could have done the job. Like we had the other assistant lady who Sam was friends with. Was she from Falcon and Winter Soldier?
new
Probably
character.
not, right?
yeah.
Yeah. And you know, she wasn't quite the agent spy fighting type. She was more like person that holds the clipboard kind of type.
Yeah.
But I feel like maybe they could have put some of those scenes over there, and then we could have easily got around some of it. So it was kind of odd, and like the Black Widow tie thing, it just felt like if you're gonna do that, you got to give her like some badass cool fight scene. Like she did tase a couple people with like a classic Black Widow rod, but like that was kind of it. So it just felt like a weird addition. I think that was. What was even the point at the end of the day? Yeah.
Because like even when they get to the sub, Sam just flies there. It's not because he's like, he walks right in and Ross like, what's he doing here? He has all these securities, all these jets, but Sam just still flew right in, just landed, good to go. You know? So it's not like she gave him clearance. So like, here, Sam, here's a car to get to the door. He just flew there. So
In the comics, apparently this character is actually a mutant.
yeah, they took that out.
more
There's a lot of other
mutant ties.
things that are controversial with the character they took out as well. So
She
I
could
don't
still be a mutant. This is not deconfirmed.
You'll
We didn't
never
look at her blood samples like Leader does, right?
You'll never see this character ever again. I'll pizza bet anybody on that. So
What if she's Jubilee? I don't know. I
great.
think what I've been carrying.
I'm actually Jubilee. Yeah, so Yeah, good old Sabra.
Mhm.
Anything else on Ruth?
Ruthed out.
Yeah, Ruthed out. We talked about. I guess we talked about Bucky. We got that appearance there. That was fun. I like the speech.
She was
even though,
thirsting
again,
over him for sure.
there, yeah, we got that there. Even
Ugh,
though
maybe
again,
not.
we kind of retread some Falcon Winter Soldier stuff like we talked about. We set up that he's running for Congress, I guess, which makes sense because in Thunderbolts he's sitting in the some sort of hearing or something. I don't really know if I need this with Bucky. I don't know if I buy like Bucky's finally
Him
a free
being Congress,
man.
you mean, or like this? scene?
Anything politically, like he's fine
Oh,
after
okay.
Falcon Winter Soldier. He's finally a free man, and he's gonna like run for office or being I buy him getting in the fight. I don't buy him sitting in boardrooms. But what I will say, what I want to bring him up is when he was on screen, our theater was, I don't know, 40% full, maybe that. Everybody shuffled in their seats. And that told me, I was like, okay, I don't know what they're doing. I wouldn't have predicted this before, but in that Avengers lineup, I think Bucky actually has to be on the fucking team. Because you have so few of those, I think, right now of people that get people excited. When he was showed up, that's Bucky. Like, people were excited to see him. And I'm more like Sebastian Stan now because I think he's just evolved as actor. Had a great year last year. I'm excited for Thunderbolts. But I was like, I think you need him now. I think that's another cast I want to do is who should be the Avengers now when it's like, before it's like, oh, it might be Shuri and Captain Marvel. It's like, I don't know if you can have Captain Marvel, like after that movie bomb, like, but I think you could have Bucky. So, but that was my point of like, people were surprisingly very hyped and yeah, good to see him. And
Man,
good job with the points, Dylan.
Is definitely congratulations, Dylan.
Thank
It's
you.
definitely like a repeat scene. Like we've been here before. Just the dialogue between the two, especially what they're covering. Still, gotta be, if not one, my second favorite scene of the entire movie. It was exciting to see him there. I think also just when he walks in the room, private room, nobody answers, and then of course I'm just like, who the fuck could it be? And then I'm just getting all excited. It's just like before like the reveal happens, and then when I saw him, I don't know. It was just like a nice friendly face, and I'm just thinking about Falcon Winter Soldier and just the way that they bonded there, and Sam just really being, he's got Lil Falcon, but like this is kind of more of a solo. I guess it's not really a solo trip. It feels like a solo trip just because there hasn't been like a big other Avenger type character with him. So to have Bucky there, I got a little emotional, and
Bucky
I'm
said he
just
loved
talking
him,
about
too.
Steve too, and then of course I'm thinking about Steve and Endgame, and of course I'm getting all emotional. So I think that was a really really good scene, even though I basically had that whole dialogue already. so it was definitely effective for me.
Agreed.
And surprisingly, he didn't have any pictures of Steve in his office, which was odd to me. He had pictures of him with Bucky, him with his sister, and the
Next
new
to his
Falcon,
bed,
But
under
that's
his pillow.
true. Yeah, which I like. Oh, sorry, Taylor. You got anything on Bucky's scene before I take it somewhere else?
It caught me off guard, even though I feel like I should have expected it, or in some shape or form, even a phone call. But I think it was cool to see him and get that again
I'm with Betty
revelation
right
that
now.
he's running for office, congressman. Just crazy. Anything can happen. I was joking with Travis in the theater. American politics.
Is he Democrat? Is he
anything can
Republican?
happen.
What is he?
They will never say that. They will never ever say any of those two words that you just said in the MCU. The same way, like Harrison Ford didn't even have a vice president in this movie. Who's the
Oh, no.
president now?
Yeah.
Who? We didn't even meet them.
Ruth. Maybe Ruth gets the upgrade.
That's how we'll see her again. She's the president. Former Black Widow's the president. The man that killed JFK. He's a congressman
And
now.
she's not even an American person, right? Like they say that
Well, who
she's from
cares now?
Israel.
Yeah, who cares now in the MCU? Like, we'll let anybody run.
Look at
but,
the current president. I mean,
Yeah.
That's true. Fuck.
My question for when we were talking about The Office there, I can't remember, we spewed off somewhere else, so I'm circling back to it about Sam and Avengers and Cap and everything. I really don't know how he's operating because, like, Steve Rogers was with S.H.I.E.L.D., and then when S.H.I.E.L.D. fell apart, Tony was giving them the money, right? And in Falcon Winter Soldier, they established that, like, Sam does not have money. He's been gone for 5 years.
yeah.
Like,
Sometimes
he
the Avengers are just poor.
well,
we
he
don't
can't
really
even get
know
a
anything
loan
about
from the
them.
bank. That's a storyline. The bank won't give him a loan. So when we get up here, he has a whole office. He has a glass window that has the Captain
Nice
America
place,
sheet.
man.
Yeah,
That's a nice place.
they establish he's not with the American government yet. Ross is trying to get that going again, so he's not with them. Tony's dead, and they establish Falcon Winter Soldier. He has no money, so I have no idea where he's getting these suits from. Oh, I guess Wakanda, right? But I have no idea where he's getting like travel tickets, like anything. So it's just a funny moment when I saw his
Private
little base here.
contractor.
I guess so, right?
Well-
He's charging like, oh yeah, Sidewinder kill, yeah, you owe me $10 million for
Maybe
that
Joaquin.
catch.
Maybe Joaquin's like inheritance. Maybe he's like super
Yeah.
loaded, like Sunspot. You know, I
Just
love
his
bringing up
income.
Sunspot.
Give it to me, Joaquin. But yeah, just a funny moment. But yeah.
You want to be my Falcon? You
Yeah,
you gotta pay me every
bankroll
month.
me, yeah. But speaking of, so yeah, Sidewinder, who had a few appearances in this movie. He was at the beginning of the movie. He was stealing the adamantium, and then in the middle of the movie, he just randomly attacks Sam in the middle of the road, gets arrested.
Sam should have been killed dead on right there.
Man, he was fully loaded. Did you see what he had under that trench coat? He had like infinite mags, grenades,
was
big
ready
ass
to go to
fucking
war.
AK-47.
Waiting to confirm the kill.
He was ready to drop 100%.
Oh yeah.
He got a lot of battle passes. And then, yeah, him and Sam fight in a scrapyard where there was a second Sam hits him in the chest with a knife. I thought he was dead. And I was going to laugh so much on this review if Giancarlo's been propping himself up and they just killed him for his appearance. But no, he's not dead. And
Sorry,
then-
quick question. What the hell happened? Sam, like, was pouring liquid on like a car battery or something like that. And
to
I was
create
like, what?
smoke so he couldn't be
Yeah.
seen.
There was like no smoke on.
I know.
on the
but
screen
that's
though.
I think there was, but it was like you could see everything. But that's what he was trying to do so he could sneak up on Sidewinder.
He was
That
home
so
aloneing him.
weird.
Give him the back
Yeah.
one.
I thought it was like a toxic gas.
I
I'm like,
thought,
that
yeah,
can't be
he's gonna
good. And he's like
breathe. Don't
inhaling it, and then, yeah, he just does the fucking
He's
drop
gonna
kick
become
on him.
Hulk. Yeah, and then later on, randomly, which I guess I missed, but he's starting to the bearded guy. He goes, this guy has a little army set up at base, and they're talking about like, man, we really need some information on the leader. So what does Sam do? Walk like 3 feet, and Sidewinder's just there chained up. He's like, I hear you want to know about the leader, and it's just like. I didn't even know Sidewinder was here, and it's very convenient that just like the one guy that has all the answers just happens to be.
And
over
also,
here.
his negotiation skills are awful.
Dude, I
He's
burst
like,
out
He's like,
laughing.
first I need a deal. He's like, you're not gonna get that deal. He's like, what about this deal? He's like, how about you tell me the information first? Gets
Yeah.
all the information, then just fucking walks off.
Yeah,
And like he like hardballs him too. He's like, I'll speak if I get full immunity. And I just like burst out laughing. I'm like, holy fuck, that's a wild ass. And
You're
then
not
he
getting
settles
full
for like,
immunity.
okay, I'm gonna go to prison, but I want like my own cell. It's like, okay, we'll see. You already gave me the information, so I'm no incentive to actually give you
So
what you asked
stupid.
for.
But yeah,
Yeah,
all
it's
his
so
scenes,
goofy.
it's always Giancarlo like very secluded with somebody else, like very added
Yeah.
on. I guess they thought that might help this movie. I love Giancarlo. The problem is, one, I don't think he's that big enough to start, and two, is a character we've seen many times before. So it didn't do. I just kind of laughed anytime he was on screen. I thought Giancarlo was bringing it, but I don't know. I think I just laughed at this whole situation. And but Dylan, you're shaking your head. No, he wasn't bringing it. You didn't like what Giancarlo.
What was he
put on?
bringing? Name one
Well,
thing he was bringing.
Grenades.
The
there's-
juice, the sauce, the meat,
There-
none of it.
He had quite a few
It was
like
an
little
empty plate.
side smirks when stuff was going on, and he had like a
Okay.
crazy look in his eye that I enjoyed. So I'm not saying I need to see him though again. Like if we never see Sidewinder again, I'm not gonna cry about it. So
Okay.
You'll see him again.
will we?
What if that was
uh,
the thing at the end of the movie? Not Captain America will be back, but Sidewinder will be back.
Sidewinder will be back.
Can't wait.
He completely caught me off guard. I did not know what to expect from this character, but him just doing his crazy shit at the church at the start and just pissed off about how the buyer did the show. I'm gonna find who wasted my time and kill him. It's
Which he didn't.
totally
He
money
just-
driven.
Why would you
Well, he
accept
just
a deal
struck a
from
new
that same
deal.
person?
He
The
struck a
leader's
new
like,
deal,
oh,
right?
sorry, I screwed you up on the deal. Here's a new deal. You know, it's like I guess if you get stood up for a date and the date person's like, oh, but we'll go on a date for sure this time, you just take them for your word. I guess. I don't know.
We've
I
all
guess.
been
So
there.
down bad you are.
I guess.
So-
Yeah, it depends what pictures you get.
Very
Sam just
true.
opens up his phone, message from Sidewinder. What the
Crazy
fuck?
Snapchat.
And he goes, "I won't forget you, buddy."
Yeah.
That's what the flashing on the screen was. Isaiah Bradley was seeing some crazy pictures on his Snapchat.
Then he tries to
Sidewinder?
kill the president.
He's
You
like,
want
"Use
more?
airdrop
Kill
this
the
thing?"
president.
Yeah.
He could have been written a little bit better with motivations and whatnot, but all he was is just a
Yes.
crazy gun for hire, and he honestly really could have. I'm surprised he didn't kill Anthony Mackie's Sam Falcon. Just like holy shit, because he was just like you said, Kirkland, packing heavy, dude.
It was a good ambush. It was a good fucking. It was a jump scare
It
for
was
me.
a jump-
When-
it was a jump
yeah.
scare.
No,
Yeah.
Okay. He wasn't successful though. To me, that's a good ambush. You know.
I mean, it's fucking Captain America. You know, if he's going after
I think my problem was though.
Someone.
Like,
But Isaiah Bradley was saying it's all about who gets the last punch, right? He got the first punch, but not the
true.
last punch.
he throws one grenade, and the second that grenade blows up, he calls the leader like, "Kill confirmed. I'll have confirmation." So it's like, what? Like, really?
kill confirmed, about to
He was so
confirm.
Even I was
confident.
convinced that Sam was dead, though. I mean, that was just
And Sam had a no. Yeah. What do you think's gonna? Little Falcon's gonna lead the movie?
yeah, little Falcon.
Yeah.
Ruth comes in, star of the movie.
I was just blown away because he kept like, and we have to remember Sam still has a broken rib here from his fight,
Your ribs.
so he's still injured. And then all we see is just Sidewinder just pumping like knives and daggers, throwing
Oh,
knives.
yeah, he's
into
fondue
fucking-
him big time.
Oh yeah, and like he's still just fighting. Like he doesn't have super healing, so that was a little bit
They weren't
too
deep
much.
stabs though. You know.
The one
were.
down below felt like a very deep stab. Then he had a throwing knife in his
he-
upper
he-
shoulder.
I think he still had his hand on Sidewinder's hand, so he didn't get the full impact. Which I
I
also
feel like
did.
an inch is a lot, and I feel like it was like almost 2 inches in him. Like
I'd say at least 5.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Full
go that far.
penetration.
He shook it
He's
off.
getting
you
full
know?
penned. Oh yeah.
Which that's what I appreciated in the Hulk fight, that he didn't take a lot of damage. He was just using lots of gadgets and tech, and he was like constantly on the move. Because I know so many people are like, oh my god, how does this human fight the Red Hulk? It's like, I don't know. This dude's fought fucking aliens. Like, we're in a comic book world. He has Wakanda tech now. Like, and I was fine because there's no point where he was like going toe to toe with the Hulk and fisticuffs. He was never like
Just catching his hands, you know.
like he was always moving, throwing stuff. Like he
Yeah.
felt like a projectile fighter. You would be like supporting, like I'm legless on the back, like shooting shit. Like I liked the fight with Red Hulk and how he did it, and like we said at the beginning, I liked just how these multiple landmarks were just getting destroyed, and that White House just got demolished. It's just a
Face
broken
fucked.
house now.
Y- Definitely, he's not like a super serumed character, but like still, I loved all the sequences of him using his gadgets. I'm like, man, like I want to play this guy in Ultimate Alliance or something. Like I like what they're showing off. It was a sweet moveset, and the Wakandan edition was just so fantastic. I since Black Panther, like I thought it was just such a cool tech where it just absorbs the energy and then shoots it back.
Kinetic. energy
Yeah, it
blast,
was
yeah.
great way to handle the
When
Hulk.
Red Hulk punches it the first time, the kinetic energy is like bouncing off his wings. Like, okay, cool. That's a good way to
Yeah.
establish like how powerful Red Hulk is.
Totally.
So.
Yeah. And it's like, what can beat the Red Hulk? Well, his own energy, right? So
Yes.
that kind of makes sense there. And just to concentrate in like a knife point to just kind of cut through his skin there.
Those back cuts that kept showing.
Oh,
those were
yeah. It
brutal.
was-
My God.
There was some like bloody
And then
sequences.
the robots were like shooting the wounds specifically.
Yeah.
It was like
Oh,
this is a
yeah.
targeted
Ross-
strike going on.
Ross-
Just
also, like-
cauterizing it, just
Yeah.
first aiding them
Just
as they're
healing.
going.
he's gonna have to be a belly sleeper in the raft. He ain't laying on the back for a couple of years now. You know. So
You saw
his
when,
face.
you know, when he
His
comes
face
to him,
was
he's
pretty
like
rough.
fetal position.
he
He's
is.
not
He
on the
wasn't
back,
on his
so-
back. So he can't sleep on his back. Literally, I'm telling you.
It's another thing.
I mean,
too
without
with
his heart
Ross.
meds, this guy's dead in 3 to 5 days at most. So.
His heart's not pumping to, get the blood out anyways. So
Yeah.
he's fine.
with Ross when he turned, like no one really asked questions. Like his government, like they're supposed to protect him. They just sent in the helicopter drones. Everyone was opening fire. They had SWAT on the roof. They were gunning him down. Like they were ready to just.
I
kill
mean,
the
wouldn't you, though?
president.
You know what Hulk does though, right?
Wouldn't you?
It's
I would
just
run.
destruction.
I would not take out my rinky-dink pistol.
No, but like if
Aside
your
from- I
job
agree with
is a
Tom,
guy with
yeah.
a gun and you're supposed to save
I'm
civilians,
fucking
you
out of
know?
there. I'm out
You're
of
supposed to
there.
save the president.
It's your last job.
These people put president over civilians. I would say.
So they're killing the monster. That's
I've seen what
eating
the Hulk
president?
can do, and I'm
Oh.
not.
But the
I'm
only
not
time
messing with
Hulk
it.
I mean, if we put Incredible Hulk aside, if we just look into all these other films, the only time Hulk went rogue was in Age of Ultron. Other than that, like, no one's ever turning on the Hulk or doing anything. Like, he's always on.
No, I think in Incredible
side.
Hulk, the public would have thought he was rogue too, right? Because he was just beating up army people. Remember, like Tim Roth and everything. So I bet the public would have looked at it as a monster destroying people, like innocent people.
I think also like the fact he threw the fucking pedestal thing at like civilians, right? Like that's
Yeah.
take
Well,
him
they kept
down,
asking
boys.
him rude questions, getting them
He
agitated.
technically did not kill a single person. The Red Hulk. I was watching. He didn't kill anybody because I'm pretty sure those helicopters were drone copters. I don't.
They
think
were
had
drones.
sense.
I don't know, man. There's probably some dude napping in the woods when when Sam's like leading him to the woods, and he just does his Hulk jump and just lands on the fucking forest, and it just like reverbs out. I'm like,
Him and
at
his
least a
woman just
fucking deer got
ma-
killed. Like
him
there's
and his woman
someone
just
that
making
died there.
out, and then you just get landed on by a red Hulk, you know. But, oh, finally, I've loved you for so long. But I'm just saying, on screen, technically, Red Hulk did not kill a single soul. So I'll just let you know. Because I was watching, because every time they kept doing this thing where they'd show a crowd of people, Red Hulk would look and they'd like back away. And then another crowd and he looks. So I was like, okay, they're not going to have him fuck up anybody because they want the happy ending, right? Because it would be a little messed up if he's like, we just see dozens of people's blood on him, and then at the end he's like, I really missed you, Betty, you know, I'm sorry about all that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, he didn't kill anybody, so there you go.
Can you imagine you're just sitting in the woods and you just see this coming down, flying at you? You're just-
Which that bugged me. Talking about Red Hulk cock, when he came back as Ross, the pants still fit. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
He should have
yeah.
been standing there
Should've
butt
been
ass
nude.
naked. Yeah, and hard as a rock. But no, like Bruce Banner at least goes and gets stretchy things, so like adapts to him. He was just wearing a regular suit, like to be the president, and he.
Catherine Hahn, the first
Catherine.
butt cheeks in the MCU, the first full frontal.
Yeah, that would. Well, could imagine that. Like weeks before we get the ratings, rated R, and we're like, oh, they're really gonna go hard with this Red Hulk stuff and everything, and it's just because it's naked Harrison Ford.
It's like a zoom in shot too, like something like that. Like not even just trying to hide it. Like
Have you ever seen Walk Hard from Dewey Cox Walk Hard?
no.
It's been a minute.
No. There's a moment where John C. Reilly's on the phone and a dude walks up and it's just full cock in his face, but like they don't even acknowledge it. He's just talking like, yeah, no, we're just on the road playing our music, and the guy's there and he's like itching himself. Like that's exactly what it should have been, but no, the pants still fit somehow. So
Pencil fit.
yeah, I wish we saw a bit more of the fire powers. We saw it around him, and I know when he gets up, I wish it were used a bit more. I don't think he like creates fireballs and throws them, but it's more like when he's punching, kicking. There's lots of fire around him, so maybe
Yeah.
a little more spicy.
I wanted it to feel more different than what just the Hulk was. Like it just felt like a, you know, like a chroma change on
Yes.
the regular Green Hulk to red.
Yeah.
Like is Red Hulk supposed to be bigger as well? I thought he was. It seemed
I
pretty.
don't think so.
Okay.
There could be, but that's not a thing that I've ever heard. Like,
Okay.
no, like he's the big one, you know. So, but it was nice to see an
They
angry
are if
Hulk.
they're saying
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
you know.
yeah. It was nice to see an angry Hulk again. I miss those
Yeah.
days. So
Yeah, for sure. Looked great too. You know,
Yeah.
CGI looked phenomenal. It was quite the contrast of going from like this jack 6-pack Red Hulk, and then it just goes down to shriveled old man Harrison Ford.
Man, the
Ooh.
green screen looked so bad with Cap though in that final dialogue sequence when he's and the sun's getting real
Man.
low and he's talking him down.
yeah.
It looked so bad.
I want to ban all fucking bright CGI background scenes. This bugs me so much. Anytime, especially MCU is so bad for this. We have these moments, and like that when they're on the helicarrier. I think when they're in the air, it doesn't look so bad. But like when they're on the helicarrier and they're looking up, and where the fuck's the image? Look at it, my son. I don't know if we have it anymore.
I
But
don't
like
think we
it's
do.
it's the same thing from fucking Thor, where it's just that bad and
Isn't
it
it
looks so just saturated. Like it bugs me so much. It happened multiple times in this movie. I fucking hate when movies have the daytime. Like just do it more dusky to kind of hide it. I don't know if you can really work around it that way.
Here's
but-
the problem though with that Cap scene at the end there, because people thought about this with those lilies and everything like that. I can't get a bigger image, but they shot that shit like practical. Like it's not
Cherry
those flower
blossoms.
stuff. That's not CGI. They weren't there. They built a set, but still, it's not CGI. And the fact that they color grade their shit to, and like that's the thing is like it just looks fake too. It's just
Yeah.
these over grays and just no life in some of these colors. I don't know. And Thunderbolts to me that trailer looks very gray as well too. I know the director joked about that and people are like it's good gray, but I'm like I'm just tired of that.
That's good gray.
Yeah, I'm tired of gray. I'm tired of colors that are just weirdly not pink but pink. But I digress.
Little Falcon. I didn't really speak too much about. Like humor for me didn't really hit for him, but I did like the character dynamic. I like that he's like a fanboy of Sam, and he's like just getting this honor. I was also just confused at what his like act like. He's supposed to be a military man, but he's just like fucked off from the whole military to just be
Yeah.
working with Sam, even though he's like doing a military mission at like the start of the like, and it doesn't even seem like he's like a captain that he can just like, I'm just gonna be fucked off, you know, go work for with Sam here. it seems like he's like a lesser role. Like he has his captain like talking to him, and then he's like shit talking back to his boss because he's just. And then he just goes and like collects the suit to just fly around, which I feel like if he's in the military, there'd probably be a hierarchy that just would prevent him from being able to just go do stuff like that. So I was trying to look past that. I love the Green Goblin suit though. You know, it looked exactly like the Green Goblin aesthetic. I loved
No,
it, even with the look.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, the green, even the yellow. Pull that
Just
mask
green?
from behind you. It was the green and yellow. It was yeah, exactly.
You're telling me that
camo
Put that on.
You saw a
Exact
movie
same
with
one.
that mask today.
I think the exact same one actually. I think that's what he had in the helmet. Fuck, that thing looks heavy. Oh shit.
What's going on?
Oh, that's Joaquin. That's Joaquin right there. That's. We're not so different from.
I really liked Captain America. How do I sound? Do I sound bad or do I sound clear?
You sound like you have the wrong voice
Muffled.
for that mask.
I got
I
nothing
like
more
it.
to say on
I like
the
it.
Falcon.
Did Falcon ever have? Sorry, did Sam Wilson ever have that suit like in the movies? Because it seemed like it was his
Yes.
old one, right?
It's his old one refurbished because it got damaged in the TV show.
Okay.
I thought it was new, but
Yeah.
there you go.
I liked Little
Because
Falcon.
in the TV show, okay, go ahead.
I liked Little Falcon quite a bit, and I really appreciate that end conversation they had where he's in the hospital bed and Sam sits down and they talk, and we've had this whole, of course, the dilemma, and they circle back to it in this movie after we had the TV show of just Sam feeling like, hey, how many alien invasions did Steve fight off and win? 2, and just all these things, these amazing things that Steve did, and like how can just Sam keep up with that? He's just a regular human, and that is just great character building because you get to this moment here where Little Falcon is saying like, hey, like you're doing
You fuckers. I can hear you laughing back there. It was very hard. There's a stand specifically it's on, and it's very hard to get the mask back on there. So for the fans, I
Sorry,
took it
Taylor.
off.
Sorry.
no, it's all good. Yeah, but he's just Little Falcon's just talking about how Sam he's never screwed up. He's just does everything right. He's always on point, and that's what Sam sees Steve. Steve is always on point. Like he doesn't have any of those failures, and so it's
Sam
just,
sees himself that way too, though. Remember, like I said earlier, he does not say he had failures. He's just like, yeah, that's what you got to do. Sam admits to no failures ever.
It's like, you want to know why I'm perfect? Because I
Yeah.
have to be. Because I have to look out for idiots like you.
Yeah, you're fired.
You'll never be me.
I'm giving Ruth the fucking wings.
it was just a cool scene, and just for me, I found it very humbling, and I like seeing that, and just a little bit more development on Little Falcon. We didn't have that much. It was just him kind of being like quippy and dropping jokes and very excited about road trips and all that. And this really made me like the character a lot more. I didn't have any excitement much for the character going in, just that okay, he's just a replacement Falcon, the new sidekick, and so I really liked him, and I'm happy to see him on the Avengers roster. If
No,
Not confirmed.
added in
That's
there.
not happening.
First name on the list, man. He's the first member of the Avengers now.
when
Unless
he's
they
healed.
need, if they need Avenger to die, then he'll make it on the team. But there's no way he's on the Avengers squad.
Really? Fuck. Like
I
a
don't
pizza
think
bet you would
so.
thought.
Like
Give
technically,
me your 5 members right now. That's
technically,
fine.
That's
no,
a topic for another day.
That's
I'll give
another
you
day.
Falcon.
Yeah, because I have the
That's what I
want
want.
and what they need. That's the thing, and and then there's a list of what they'll do. But Falcon technically was on the Avengers. That he became a member after Age of Ultron. So there is history of it. I just don't think unless they literally say the Avengers team is like 20 people, then sure. But if we go with like it's a 6, Danny's
You're
not.
gonna
3.
get-
It's
you're gonna
3
get-
and Falcon's one of them.
Isaiah Bradley's another one.
Yeah.
And then just
Ruth,
Sam.
let's go to 4.
just Sam, yeah. And Ruth,
Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Could you imagine that? Feige's on stage introducing the Avengers. It's just Ruth, Carl Lumbly, Bucky. It's just the cat people, and they're like, "Oh, okay."
Who?
Yeah.
Just crickets in the crowd. They're like, what?
Yeah. And Chris Evans and Steve Rogers again. Oh my God, he's back. Yeah. Anything else specifically we haven't touched on? Character stuff, moments, scenes.
There was a moment when they were highlighting. It was during the adamantium presentation in the White House before all the agents went kind of crazy. Harrison Ford was doing his little explanation, and then in retrospect later, when Sam was looking at the tapes, he was like, "What the hell?" Like Isaiah had him like point blank, like right dead in his sights and fired. He was replaying that scene again and again, and was he implying that Ross should have been shot and actually hit?
Yes. No.
So
he-
are we to assume like he was just
No.
bulletproof because he's a Hulk?
no. He's saying that Isaiah missed on purpose
Oh, okay.
because the leader didn't want him dead. He wanted to take down his legacy. So if he just kills him, he becomes a martyr, right? Of like, oh, Ross, present. So that's why. Because
Oh, I see.
Sam's like, he shouldn't have missed it all. He had him dead to rights. How is he not shot? I thought the same thing at you first. Like, oh, that's like, gonna put together. He's has some powers going on, but then no, it was okay. That's why. Because then he's.
Okay.
See, I don't even know if he says he misses, but he implies he missed. So that's why.
One weird thing, the opening of the movie had like a different intro, and it's like a
Yeah.
noir, like old school retro thing. I didn't get it. It was very odd choice.
Well, they're going for like a political thriller thing, but I found it very odd that this is the first MCU project ever that does not have the fanfare in 50 projects, and I don't like it. It's not a big thing. It has nothing against the score or anything, but it's like I like that beginning. You could still have that and then do your thing there, but yeah, I think
It just didn't really fit the aesthetic of the movie at all, though. So it was a
No.
weird like theming for it, in my opinion.
And I also thought the transition into Ross's speech that felt very not real. Like his president acceptance speech, it just felt very like AI generated people out there and fake responses. Did not feel like passion, like when Tony
But-
Stark made some of his speeches and everything.
But also very real. It seems like a very like just
No, not
bullshit
real.
political. Like we're gonna do it. Like it just seems like the standard vanilla political acceptance
Yeah,
speech.
you
but
can
I
see
mean,
what they
like,
were
they
going
don't-
for.
I get what they're going. No, not that. I mean, like just literally the vibe of it did not feel like.
Oh,
an
like the
actual
crowd
speech.
and everything?
Yeah,
Okay,
everything, the
yes.
environment.
I'm
it just
with you,
felt
yes.
like Harrison Ford is standing on an X right now in a CGI room with CGI people and everything. Like Gandalf acting at the dinner table in The Hobbit. Like that's what it felt like. There was no actual reaction or energy in the speech going on. So,
I'm ready to put a number on this bad boy.
Kirkland, anything else?
Very forgettable score. I don't remember a single track from the entire
There's
film.
a few moments I liked when they're hitting on some kind of like kind of noir-y sound effects and everything, but
I agree with you, Kirkland.
If you have, if you're
Damn.
prone to epilepsy or flashing lights or not your groove, I would avoid this movie because there's a lot of flashing lights.
we did have a warning in our theater, so I'm sure there
Really?
Was there the warning? I totally missed that.
when you walk in the theater on the post, they had the sign like if you suffer from it.
Oh, I did not see that. I just know when we got into the leader's lair and the guards walked in, those lights were flashing. I was like, holy fuck.
Thank
But
God.
like I was gonna start being mind programmed or something.
Just stand up, start fucking shooting at someone. Glad you didn't do that. Just talking about the theater, I didn't think about this till now. I don't know if this has ever happened to me before, and it didn't happen to me. But in the theater, far left corner, I'm glad I wasn't sitting in that area. I just heard one lady say, "Shut the fuck up,"
Nice.
and I'm like, man. Shouts out to her. Someone was
iconic.
talking too much. I didn't hear any of the dialogue, but I just heard "shut the fuck up," and then they stopped.
And the twist of the story is Kirkland and her were the only people in the theater. She's just talking to ghosts out there.
Ghost from Thunderbolt.
I never looked back, so I never actually saw the interaction of who was there. There were some bodies in my theater though.
It's a Harrison Ford line. She was quoting the Harrison Ford thing.
Shut the fuck up!
It was actually very similar to that. Like unironically, it was very similar to that.
Sorry, was that once the movie had started, or was it like earlier on?
It was during the movie. It was like
Yeah.
during like dialogue, like maybe after
Yeah.
the assassination. So it's like, yeah, someone's fucking not shutting the hell up.
Nice.
So I'm
Nice.
kudos to her for doing that.
I did do that at the Ghostbusters Frozen Empire last year to somebody because they
Oh, yeah.
were, they unfortunately for them they didn't understand, but a couple seats above forward from us there was somebody that had special abilities, so they would talk during the movie and whatnot, and that's fine with me because they can't control themselves, but this person would keep telling them to shut up and like sighing, so I stood right up and I walked by there and I'm like, you know what the fuck you're doing? He's like, no. I'm like, you're being very rude to someone that has special needs. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm like, yeah, think about it before you do. And I pimped off.
Huh? Isn't that right? Huh, brother?
You double tapped him.
He was scared when I sat down because
Hit him with the Sidewinder special. Show up with your grenades.
The theater was the parents with their kid, me and Emily and our kids, him and a few others. So this theater had maybe 10 people. So when I walked in, my scene sat right beside him. The fear of God was him because he's like, "What the fuck is this?"
You had
guy
your
gonna
goblin mask on and everything.
Speak of the devil. Yeah. And Nocturnal Animals. I had a couple Nocturnal Animals.
Travis
me
is
and
on
Emily.
sabbatical.
There was a couple that was talking for the first 15 minutes I get to, and then I hit him to shut the fuck. You need it. Luckily, I haven't had it in a while. But all right, before we get out of here, the point tally right now, because I'm going to do this with the MCU project at the end. I'm going to kind of keep it on track the whole time. Taylor, you're at 0 right now. No Scar, no Rick Strange for you, so I'm sorry. Dylan is in last place with 15 points, but he will be higher up. But he got 15 points for Bucky, an unannounced appearance.
Nice.
If people don't know, we do the movie in the MCU draft. We all have 10 characters, and we get points based on certain critiques, like leading a film, special appearances, special appearances, secrets, stuff like that. So yeah, because Dylan did not have Bucky, or Bucky was not appeared in any promos, 15 points. Kirkland, right now, you're in the lead because you had Spider-Man leading project and you had Falcon, so he did not die. So you're at 30, or sorry, you're not in the lead. Sorry, I'm wrong. You're in second place.
Plus
with
post
30.
credit for Cap.
No, I have Cap.
Oh.
He is Little Falcon. I have Sam Wilson.
Little Falcon.
So I got the 25 from leading and then 10 for the end credit at 35. But yeah, Dylan has Bucky coming up. So that was a good pick there, Dylan. Our first surprise appearance of the year. So
I'll
very
take it.
good. So
Good job.
yeah. Dylan, what do you want to throw on this for a number range?
5.2.
5.2. Okay.
That's all.
That's all I passed.
Mr. Taylor Field.
Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a... I was thinking a 7 before, but I'm going to go 7.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
I
Maybe
would
she'll let you
definitely
last.
rewatch this. I'm not going to be racing and running to it. Would I say you need to see it in theaters? I don't think it's for everyone. I really don't. I think that this is going to be a split down the center kind of a thing where I think some people like it, some people really don't like it. And after seeing a lot of the reviews and just the lower ratings, I think that helped as well, me going in, because I had low expectations. And so when I actually watched it, there were parts that I really did enjoy. Now, there, of course, is definitely some messy components too. It's not devoid of its problems. And I think you can definitely tell how some things were poorly chopped up. But at its core, I think it's a decent enough movie. It's not the greatest movie to be kickstarting our Avengers path, like
Technically,
forward.
we're at the end of. I didn't know this because this is how they screwed this up before too. Do you know what the ending movie of Phase 5 is?
Fantastic Four.
No. Anyone else got a guess?
Wasn't it Deadpool?
Nope. Kirkland, last chance.
Oh no, is it this?
No, it's Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts is technically the last thing, and Fantastic Four kicks off Phase 6. But that's the problem. We used to know that shit. We used to know.
Well, it used to be
dead.
Deadpool at one point. I remember that
Yes.
specifically.
Yeah, but now
And
it's Thunderbolts.
Fantastic Four was supposed to be in Phase 4, wasn't it? That was the big 4.
Well, that never happened because
Yeah.
now it's in Phase 6. Delays.
Yeah, I know. That's just
everything
like
that.
holy fuck,
Yeah.
got pushed down the line.
Yeah. I'll go next because I was leaving Taylor. I thought Taylor would not have that high a score. I'm going to go a 6.75. As I've said before, I've changed my 7s. This maybe used to be a 7, but now I've reserved 7s for films that are very well made, but I maybe particularly didn't like. A 7.5 means I'll rewatch it a lot. I won't rewatch this a lot, so I'm still going to pass it. That's where it's the 6.75. I like it enough. There's some good stuff in here. I will rewatch this, but kind of like Taylor said, I'm not rushing. Like, I don't think it's going to be next year. Like, I don't know when it will be. I'll have a moment where, Cap marathon showing the kids. I know I'll watch it again when Emily wants to see it because she didn't see it when it's on Disney Plus. But me actively choosing to watch it, probably going to be a few years. But I had a good enough time again. I think there's, of course, do I want every movie to be great, phenomenal, walk up, be like, man, that's my favorite movie of the year? Of course, right? But I'm also fine with some movies just being, it's just okay. It's all right. And it's also a movie that if people, because there's so many people that I've seen that, like, I hate it. I don't think I've seen I loved it, but I feel like it's a hate or, oh, I had a good time with it. And people are being overzealous with it. I can see someone passing it. I can see someone failing it. I completely understand. So 6.75. So it's like a C plus. I feel like that's what this is, C plus type of movie. So yeah. And my rankings, I don't know where it is technically yet because I was looking at that before. I think it's probably, because there's 50 projects, it's somewhere in the 30 to 40 range. So it is on the lower end. Yeah, I think so. The lower end. So yeah. Patzer.
Juicy. Yeah, this one for me, like I stated in the beginning, I think it was average for the most part, with some little bit of sprinkly sparklies on there. Like there's some things that uplifted a little bit, and for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 7.2. Not quite 7.5. A little bit of an abnormal rating, but this was a little bit of an abnormal adventure, and yeah, no, I guess I'm happy, like it didn't disappoint me, even though my expectations were low. So that's that's good. I got a good time out of it, and I wouldn't really recommend it to people to go see it in theaters, but like honestly, I am glad I saw this in theaters. I think the action scenes were all like really really well done. I like the fight choreography, and yeah, like the Red Hulk Cap fight. That was the biggest build-up. It's on the poster. Red Hulk punching the Shield. Like that was the big fight night type event in this movie, and I think they totally delivered on that behalf. So yeah, 7.2 for me.
Nice.
There you go. So yeah, we have now talked about and reviewed Captain America: Brave New World. What's our next venture in the MCU? Is it Thunderbolts? Or do we got? Oh no, I guess it's Daredevil in less than 3 weeks around.
That's
Daredevil
insane.
is back.
Can't wait.
And I feel like that's gonna be. I'm very much. There's the reverse of us all going into Cap being like, very low expectations, and we're a little surprised. That better not be the opposite, where we're very high expectations and we're very let down. So I think it's very exciting. Make sure if you are listening, check out. They will be releasing it soon, hopefully. But the Daredevil season 1 and season 2 retrospective from Kirkland and Taylor, who have watched it for the first time ever this year, out, and season 3 will be, and we'll be reviewing that predictions episode, whole bunch of stuff. Thank you very much to anyone who tuned in live, anyone who listened, whether it is the weekend of or years later, doesn't matter. We appreciate you very much. We thank you. And I hope when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.